10 seconds. It's gonna be 90. It's gonna be 90 seconds, but it's fine. They'll roast me.
By the way. I didn't get introduced at all. I was just there like, okay, I'll speak whenever. I don't want to interrupt.
We're over.
I'm trying to get the guy's attention from Vindication.
I'm just.
Audio is very low.
I can turn you up. I do have you low. I've got you guys set on a different mixer, so I can adjust you. Don't worry about it.
I'm just trying to see if there's anyone else on the Bully team that I can tag. Legacy? Is that EU? Yeah, that's EU.
Yep.
Could have stayed in with bloody combat.
All right, guys. While we wait, we're just waiting on the green light from Team Vindication while we get this thing ready. We heard a little bit about Optimus, or excuse me, from Mazza and his thoughts on kind of the map pool and how that structure plays out. But Optimus, if you want to kind of introduce yourself to chat, let them know what you're thinking, how you feel about these two teams. I think you cast just about every game we had on PlayStation this season.
It feels like it, yes. I think I've done semi-finals, I believe, the Vindication in game, which I did do. I think I've covered Team Nebula, but that was back in, I think,
Who did
week
Vindication
6.
play in the semi-finals? Who did they beat?
I cannot remember. It has been a while. I think the last time I casted Team Nebula was back in week 6, so...
Yeah, Nebula was tied for first overall in this division. Vindication a bit farther behind with a 6-2 record. So, Nebula definitely looking like a strong seed at the moment.
You mentioned there about the maps. And now, when this was first announced for the playoffs maps, I looked through and I saw the finals, and I saw the last two maps of King's Row and Legion Tower, and my God, I am so annoyed that my team didn't make the final. Those are my two favourite maps in the entire game of Overwatch. So I want to see this game go the distance. I want to see it go all the way because, as you mentioned, you will see things where maybe draws can definitely come into effect. And even though draws are kind of rare on those maps, you can't draw Legion, for example. But you can draw potentially King's Row if no one caps the first point. But it's going to be so interesting to see because I think for most people, will probably agree. Hopefully, they would agree in chat. Like King's Row is probably the favourite map. It's called Scrims Row for a reason now. It's one of the most popular maps, and every single team likes it, and every single team is normally drilled on it. So it's going to be interesting. Say if we're in a 1-1 situation, because like Hanamura is doing the draw. Teams taking one map each, Hanamura's a draw, we go into King's Row, and then it's like really brawling it out over those last two maps. That would be ideal for me, that we go to the sort of the first two maps go either side, we draw on Hanamura, and then we get King's Row and Lijiang. That way we've secured those 5-map series at least. And that's what I'm really, really hoping for. And I think it's definitely going to be worth quitting the comp match, which I just did.
Alright, so going on to Route 66, despite the fact that the map, for the most part, just evolves into goats, at the beginning, the attacker side, we do sometimes see double sniper come out. You could see like some bizarre like triple DPS come sheriff, a mercy solo heal as well for the attackers. What do you expect to see so far?
Well, this was the home of the quad DPS as well, if I remember right off the top of my head, and it's also the little strategy which actually ran against us the other day in the scrim. Which is also running in contenders, where you had the May, which hides in this sort of right side tunnel. So you run sort of like a bunker
big
cover May or
room.
Stoats. in the big health pack room. So I don't know whether or not either one of these teams are going to be bringing something like that out in the grand finals. You know, we have to remember there's money on the line here. This is not just any normal match. You know, this is the grand finals. This is the big game, really. This is the Titans against the Shock sort of level game. Apart from obviously the prize is obviously a little bit smaller, but it's definitely going to be interesting to see if both of these teams are going to take much risks with their competitions. They're obviously going to stick with what they've practiced the most, but
so it's going to be a bunker-based defense with the use of a Baptiste there. I love me seeing some Baptiste. Honestly, I think Immortality Field a bit of a powerful ability, one of the most powerful abilities in the game, of course, versus a straight-up dive-based attack here coming out.
So no goats, at least not yet. So yes, you mentioned about the bunker composition. Baptiste has been obviously the game, obviously new, only introduced in playoffs. So not much time to practice with him, but teams have really developed him into compositions very quickly, and he's very effective in these bunker compositions. Solar Dive going to be coming in from the Monkey, though the Beaver's a little bit late to get in there. Right now, take a bit of poke damage. TDT on the Tracer is going to pick up not Spoons, though, so the Ash is going to fall, the Res is going to be forced. They're going to dive back up now, just take a little bit more poke damage. They're just playing this slow, which is kind of more playing into the defense's advantage, really, with this bunker composition, this Ash and Junkrat. Just a shutout damage. You can already see that Milkman is already 85% to a tie. So he's going to
Monkey forced to pop the primal. He gets trapped.
That's so
just
unlucky.
for survivability, ends up like doing a lot of work on this, knocking people all around. And this is going to be the attackers now getting a huge wipe.
I mean, yeah, Baptiste Immortality Field's very handy, but the problem is you can be booped out of it, and that's what he just did there with the Primal Rage. Just sort of knocks them around, they can't stay in the Immortality Field. In the end, it's just clean up for Vindication. They will take the first point. Look at that generous time bank as well, which they've just got. We know these doors take about 30 seconds to actually open. Tyre coming in from
Tyre coming in. Now, this might be a swap as soon as this detonates. It's not Spoon.
I have no idea where it actually is. Tyre's going to pick up Shadow Dragon right in the back, but they are going to lose Not Spoons again to the Pulse Bomb TDT. The switch comes in. VSP is going to raise Shadow Dragon, so Vindication back up to 6 and definitely have advantage of a lot of damage down on the defense now for Team Nebula. TDT is just in the back line. Barrage coming in from defense. Eye is going to pick up Junkrat. Bomb's going to go out. The Whistle also falls. That bomb going to pick up anyone. Will Shadow Dragon falls somewhere on the Zenyatta there. It's a 2 for 2 right now. TDT again in the back line, just constantly harassing. There's a Diva Bomb to remech for Vindication. No one's coming on point.
We are seeing so many reses right now. I feel like I'm watching Season 1, Stage 1 of Overwatch League at the moment, and this is absolutely nuts.
Yeah, this feels like sort of old Valkyrie when she could res 2 people at once. You know, the amount of reses that they've
oh man,
so get, but VSP's going to fall.
VSP going for a really risky res right there. Going to be following to Muda Heal Me on that Zenyatta.
That is a huge pick, and that's just going to stop.
There's also now double hit scan out now for Team Nebula, so this is definitely going to be forcing the Dyslexic Eyes to maybe reevaluate this hero choice of the Pharah.
Potentially might try to build up to a barrage. Remember how quick Pharah barrages can actually be charged. GDT is going to fall to Milkman on that McCree now, as you mentioned, switching over. Nice early pick there, and Dyslexic Eyes is actually going to get 40 Not Spoons. Be interesting to see. Now's the time you want to make a switch off that Pharah, really. You've only got 40% of an alternate. It might take you a while to build it up, but it's probably better just to switch. And you will see the switch to the Hanzo as soon as I say that. Smart decision.
Yeah, we could be able to get some pretty decent sightlines on the hands. Obviously, it's going to help with the shield break and able to take out Chinch, sorry if I'm saying that incorrectly, on that Orisa, who is set up for another kind of a bunker based with the hit scan this time around.
This comp normally is ran with double snipers, normally, but the McCree soldiers to counter the Pharah, which is now switched. Be interesting to see if they do make any switches. There's the new mech from Mav Warrior. They demeched him in the last team fight, but didn't actually finish him. Solar Dive cut in by Fairx. Again, he has to pop that Primal Rage to stay alive. Pioneering Valk, 3 ult. Okay, a bunch of ults being used. Both Transcendencies are down. First kill that goes to Fairx.
Oh, it's
okay,
huge.
J-Tech and Not Spoons both use their ultimates as well. Both supports are now down for Vindication. This attack is over for them. Just probably just trying to get some late kills here. Mav Warrior is going to not get staggered because he's just going to jump off the map. A lot of ults committed from both teams there. Be interested to see if there's any compositions.
I'd hate to say this, but but the solution right now was not to go into the Orisa. The solution is to just go goats. You go goats, you get on this cart, and the hit scan damage is not going to be enough to really bother you. You're going to be able to get on this payload. We're not going to be able to do anything about it. Goats would be the complete right answer right now. Instead of trying to almost like match this bunker comp, well, guess what, guys? Goats counters bunker.
Yeah. I mean, you're trying to counter this bunker comp while they have the high ground, which is a massive disadvantage, which we will have in this poke ball. The bunkers goes down quite a nice and early though, but Mav Warrior gets the next for its Vindication will be go out there Diva, and as soon as mentioned that 5x is also, hopefully I'm saying that right, chat, falls on the Orisa, now it's just giving some more cleanup for Team Nebula now, as the entire team is a bit staggered now for Vindication. So
and they had a 5-minute time bank, don't remember, man. They capped point A with like 5 minutes to spare, and now they're down to under a minute and a half. This is really looking in dire straits right now if you are Vindication.
I have to mention that VSP, we do see him obviously fall, going for that really aggressive Mercy. Just remember the last game, which I actually casted, it was a semi-final match, it was the Platinum tier it was in NA. The Mercy kept getting reses off in the middle of the team and wasn't punished, but you can see there the difference in skill level between a Masters tier game and a Platinum tier game. No offense to Platinum players, obviously, I'm one myself, but you can definitely see the difference there in terms of target focus. Dragon's going to come out there as the bomb. Transcendence is going to be used just to keep himself alive, I think, more than anything else.
Never a bad idea.
5x falls though to Mother. Gotta get rid of by VSP. The High Noon is somewhere, I don't know where that was, but Clinch is going to lose his life to TDT on that soldier. But not
that's a monster haul, but is it able to find anything with it?
Oh, that's huge by there!
And the rest comes out as well!
Absolutely huge turning point there. Tactical fighters are still going to be committed by TDT. They only have 30 seconds left now. Vindication just need to get out and just regroup and hope for no more stagger kills, but they aren't winning away right now. The Diva and the Mercy are definitely in danger of being picked off. They get very lucky to escape.
And look at the alt economy too, man. It's going to be Shadow Dragon with this Transcendence. He's going to have to force this out, man, in order to touch this cart properly. But they're going to be able to deal with the super trigger from Orisa is going to be coming out next with not spoons of attack fires. There's going to be basically like a pseudo nano.
Oh, Clinch gets the bomb goes down. Tactical Visor come out of defense by not spoons. The Transcendence is there to cancel it though, but he's still going to pick up VSP. Milkman's going to lose his life to Mouth Warrior on that Diva. Right now it's equal. Mudder, not Spoon's going to trade out for the opposite opponents. So the Soldier and the Zen falling to the Soldier and Zen on defense as well. Bit of an interesting one there. Just clear it right now for Team Nebula. And they will stop this point about 3/4 of the way through the second. But we do have to remember, obviously they had 5 minutes for a time bank. So a very solid hold by Team Nebula. As soon as they sort of got the double hit scan to counter the Farrier, it looked like Vindication struggled quite a bit to get back into that bunker composition. And as you mentioned, obviously, Master, they switched to go for their own sort of bunker composition, but the issue you do have, unless you take the high ground yourself, you'll obviously always be at a disadvantage against an opposition Orisa majority of the time.
I mean, bunker is fantastic against dive. That's one of the reasons why if OWL goes to a 2-2-2, it's really just going to be a matter of, okay, bunker's going to be incredibly strong because you cannot run goats in a force 2-2-2, potentially to stage 3, fingers crossed, and dive. Well, I mean, bunker is specifically very good against dive. So, like, what really are your options here? With what you have to work with right now, going for like trying to match about the Orisa with your own Orisa, not really the best call, I gotta say. So I think just going for more sustain, trying to get that cart moving and have them come to fight you, force them to fight you, would have been the right course of action. Instead they just tried to pick a fight at a distance against their bunker, and this wasn't working out for them.
Now, this might not stay, as it seems, but it looks like Team Nebula might be bringing out a bit of pirate ship here with quadruple tank, but something tells me that won't be staying. We do have the bunker cop on defense, as we were mentioning, but no Baptiste this time.
Okay, I think the Bastion is definitely staying. Yeah.
Looks like the Bastion is staying. We're going to have a bit of a pirate ship, and we're not on Jungle Town, but you know what? Guess what? It still works on all escort maps.
Yeah, I've seen this run before here on Route 6. I've seen it run with a Torb actually as well on Route 66 to pretty good success. But McMahon on the Bastion instead. Muda, sorry, on the Baptiste, be helping keep the Bastion alive that immortality field. And yeah, hooking people is going to be the key to victory here for Malv Warrior. But when you lose your Orisa and your Hog so early, that's not going to help you out at all. They gotta back out right now. You cannot fight this. This is a full retreat.
This is a forward shooter now. Both of the tanks are down. What makes the bunker comp a bunker comp? Are both dead. Just try and get out with your lives right now, Vindication. Looks like VSP is running away, leaving TTT by himself on this McCree.
I like the position of Mickman as well, man, like, on the Bastion. This is very reminiscent of what we've seen on Junkertown from some of the OWL teams. You see him, like, not on the cart, but rather taking position so he has a better line of sight while his team advances it.
I absolutely love that. VSP was sort of like, no, I'm getting out of it. Then TDT calls for help to try and kill the Hanzo. He comes back and helps him. And they do manage to get out both alive. But again, we see this time bank. Just over 5 minutes again. We'll see if Team Nebula could be a bit more deadly with their attack. TDT does have the High Noon, which is the only ultimate so far, which they have on defense. Vindication didn't have time to build up any tank ult due to the fact that they died so quickly.
Shadow Dragon does swap on about that piece as well, so we're going to try to be matching Immortality Field. Immortality Field, but we lose a Mercy so early on. That's so big. You cannot afford to be losing that. Again, when you have to be falling back right here, right now, you cannot take this fight without your Mercy.
Yeah, well, we have to mention the late Dragons coming by not spoons as well as the ultimate by Milkman. I was about to mention here on defense, you could see that Vindication have switched Mav Warrior now onto the Diva as well as the Hog, from the Hog as well as the Baptiste switch. And you see them move from the high ground to the point because they realise they have to hold here, but they're getting mounted from behind right now. No one is focusing Milkman on this Bastion. They don't even need that.
It's a pincer maneuver, dude. Pincer maneuver, dude. This is exactly how the Allies were able to win World War II on D-Day, bro. Like, coming at you from every single side.
Yeah, they notice the fact that they have to fight a payload because they can't afford to give free space. They drop down to hold the first thing, but they completely forget about the Orisa and the Bastion, who's just on the high ground above them. Just free shooting. No one even attempts to try and go up there to stop them. The TBC focusing, I think it was on a Mercy, I think it was on point. As I mentioned, they didn't even need the Immortality Field or Mudder to keep the Bastion alive there. Look how many ults they've got. I'm gonna pop 2 of them instantly to come around the corner.
Died during the animation, I think.
Bye-bye, Dragon. You ain't getting that off today. TDT is gonna go for the High Noon. He's gonna get killed by Nox Pooz. It also picks up VSP with that Dragon as well, randomly. This is absolutely just clean up right now, coming for Team Nebula. They can't even touch complete Vindication. That's the first map over. Just like that. That was a very, very quick first map there of Route 66. General thoughts there, Massa. Was it... I think it definitely didn't help Vindication, the fact that their bunker comp died so quickly on that first point.
Yeah, like, you lose your you lose both your tanks so early on, and just see a nice environmental kill. I do believe you.
I'm sorry, how is that play the game instead of the 3-man bomb? Come on, Blizzard.
But it was an environmental kill involved, you know, that's Blizzard's logic with it.
3-man bomb that single-handedly just clutches the point and stops the payload for his team on defense. But it's one person off the map when they were resetting anyway. Play the game. Last one, Blizzard. Anyway, carry on.
Well, otherwise, will Lucios really ever get play of a game that often?
True.
Well, there you go.
So, Ilios, I believe, is the next map, if I do remember right. Please correct me if I'm wrong.
I do believe you are correct.
Yay!
So, yeah, we
Ilios.
are going to Greece, yes.
So we're off to Greece, which is where a few people are that I actually know, and where I might actually be going myself in a couple of weeks' time in real life. Anyway, that's a whole different story. But so, Ilios, Control. Now, there's not much information we can go off of the first map of Route 66.
No, but just the different kind of map types, you can enable different kind of strategies. Obviously, on King of the Hill, you can see a lot of different kind of things come out, but it looks like neither team really wants to be running goats, so it's not really enough to really go off to judge how King of the Hill is going to be. I don't know if Swift has any thoughts on Ilios or not.
You know, man, not a lot of thoughts on Ilios, but I do want to take a second. Because this is the grand finals, we have something a little special coming out here. We did get some player bios coming out for both of these teams. So Team Nebula taking first point here on Route 66. Wanted to take a quick second to kind of highlight some of the players they have on their team. So we'll kind of go left to right here. So the starting 6 that we were given in advance, we got J-Tech here, age 20. From the UK, Mazza gave that a little, had a little laugh before. Yeah, but you know it. Yeah. Oh, ooh, exciting. But we wanted to take a second to kind of highlight some of the players that have taken the time to play throughout our entire multi-tier tournament. This did have a 9-week regular season, culminating here in what is for most divisions a 3-week postseason. So that's a lot of Overwatch, right? It's a huge time commitment. So highlighting the teams here, left to right, we already talked a little bit about JTech playing the Diva, playing the off tanks for him. Then you have Chinchiller's primary main tank from LA, age 23. Mudda Mudda Heal Me, we already saw how dominant they were on the Zenyatta there. Hailing from Clover. I'm not familiar with what state Clover is. And then we saw Elo Husky on the hit scan coming out from St. Louis. I assume that's St. Louis instead of San Luis. And then Not Spoons. So you guys didn't talk a whole lot about Not Spoons, but we saw his Hanzo was absolutely dominant in the backline there for .2 for Team Nebula coming in from Detroit. And then finishing out McMahon, who played a lot of Bastion for him this last time around from St. Louis. Small town kid from St. Louis. Love to see it, guys. Thanks for playing. Thanks for coming out. Next map is gonna be Ilios Team Nebula taking the first point. We're gonna go ahead and check in. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and take a second, check in with both captains, make sure we're good to go. But talked a little bit about boops and what that does for play of the game. But how do you think it's gonna factor in here? We saw both teams play a lot of Orisa. Are you expecting to see Orisa Hog?
Well, yeah, because the thing... Sorry, Massa. The thing that I was actually going to ask you, Massa, which you did hint at, I was about to mention that neither one of the teams played GOATs on Route 66, even though maybe Vindication probably had its best chance. They did switch to that composition. And obviously, Control is a lot more... Well, it's Control, basically. It does favour a sort of a GOAT composition slightly more than an Escort map in some way, shape, or form. So do you expect both of the teams to go GOATs, or do you really think we will be seeing that Orisa again? Because everything is good on Ilios on all three of the maps. So
I wouldn't say she's super good on all three, unless you're Clockwork Vendetta, in which case you run Torme or Orisa Hog on every single map, and you somehow make EU trials. That's a whole other story,
about to make
though.
Contenders, you mean? Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I think that you run Orisa Hog on well, but on a map like, as we go to right now, a Lighthouse, I think Winston is quite good. I think we're going to be seeing some Pharah perhaps again. Pharah just on Ilios is just like pretty common, I would say.
See, it wouldn't surprise me if Orisa comes out here, because I've seen it actually quite a lot more recently on the Lighthouse now, because it's a case of the bunker composition just gets us up on point with the Baptiste just hides his immortality field around the corner and you can't really destroy it. But I don't think we will be seeing that. I think you are right that potentially we will be seeing some more of the sort of the GOATs, which has definitely been shown at first glance here.
It's funny, though. You want to run GOATs on Control, but you don't want to run GOATs on Route 66? I don't know. That just kind of seems a bit weird to me, to be completely honest. What I do hope we do see, though, is the Symmetra, but of course not.
Yeah, of course that wasn't going to happen. We could have straightforward, here we go, this is what you will sign up for. It's Overwatch League all over again. It's Zenyatta GOATs versus Zenyatta GOATs. As we go into our first map here of Ilios.
Man, if you can run GOATs though here, why not run it against Bunker? I mean against what was being run? I don't understand. I don't get it. Whatever.
It matters. Route 66 is in the past now. We're on to Ilios. Both teams figured out. Not Spoons gets an early pick on Stetson's eyes. That's absolutely a huge pick. The Brigitte is down from Vindication. That's a huge disadvantage that they have. They also have point control right now as well. Team Nebula Virex is also going to fall on the Lionheart. I hope I'm pronouncing that right, chat. Please someone let me know if I'm saying it wrong. TDT is also just getting picked off, and that's why he's going to reset. And just like that, early point control going to be taken by Team Nebula. I didn't see if the Static Eyes got stunned in that team fight, because he fell very quickly. Look at Not Spoons already has that rally as well, doubling the Static Eyes ult charge because of that early pick onto him. So rally is going to be online first for Vindication here.
We're going to have the
Shatters as well.
Yeah,
oh, that's a huge 5-star by Firex.
That's absolutely massive.
Mudda's down, he almost had Transcendence as well. It's a huge pick, they have to use that. There is both Shatters coming out, both that. Trant's going to be coming out with Rally, popped, as I said, by Not Spoon, trying to keep them alive. Right now it's just a poke wall. Right now both grabs on side, just the closest. Milkman's going to pop first, but Clinch is going to lose his life. Bomb's going to come out by Math. Warrior's going to pick up 2. Not Spoon's trying to turn this around, but he's going to lose his life, and eventually it's going to be a clean up right now for Vindication and A. That huge 5-strike pick coming in by Virex meant that Mother couldn't build up that Transcendence, but he will have it for the next fight when TDT does have his Graviton Surge. A lot of ultimates committed by both teams there, but 2 support ults online for Team Nebula, so they definitely have advantage, you would say, going into the next fight.
Yeah, but they also, Vindication does have the Graviton Surge available, so this could be used to force out one of the support ultimates early.
Oh! They layered the support ults by accident, I think that was, but I think they got overexcited because they killed Firex. Shadow Dragon's the next fight, he's down as well. Excuse me, sorry, Clinch picks up 2 kills on this Reinhardt. You don't say, very controversial for Team Nebula to use both support ults there, and one wasn't even really needed. TDT now has a free Graviton Surge, you'd have to say now, and Mad Warrior is actually quite close to getting that Diva Bomb, so they have to hope that JTech eats this Graviton Surge right now. If you are Vindication NA, you take that fight as a loss, knowing you had a slight disadvantage with only having the 1 ultimate. But both support ults overlap. Very interesting to see that happen, especially at this tier, at this time. Shatter comes in, is going to connect with 2 shadows. One of them he gets killed off by Milkman. Riley's going to come in by Not Spoons. He gets killed by the charge by Felix. There's the grab by TDT. It's equal on both sides right now. Both Reinhardts are down. Both Vegetas are also down. Mother and Milkman's also going to fall though. More picks coming in the kill feed for Vindication NA. But look at the percentage right now for Team Nebula. There's JTech and oh my god, I'm just going to call him for short, the Lucio, just stalling at this point. JTech gets back here, just stalls for a little bit longer, and look at that percentage, they've tipped it all the way up to 94%. They're in 1 fight territory, and they have a grab bomb combo coming into the next fight. But Vindication NA, they do also have a lot of ultimates to use themselves.
Yeah, we're going to have 3 support ultimates available, plus the Shatter, so one of the things that you can do here is if you do get grabbed, you could just Shatter and prevent any sort of follow-up. That's a fantastic trade, don't having to invest any support ultimates into that too. Just be careful about layering them, obviously, that's the big issue that could come back to haunt them.
Early rally by the eyes coming in, trying to give a wrench. Graviton Surge goes in, it's not eating, there is the Shatter as you mentioned. Bomb's going to come in, someone gets charged out, didn't see who it was, but oh, that's a huge Shatter by Clinch. Gets with 2, Vegeta being the main one there, just clean up right now. Lap gets a double, well technically 1 kill there with the beat, gets the mech and the Baby Diva at the same time. Just cleaning up right now for Team Nebula.
Yeah, Shadow Dragon died with that Transcendence too. It's normally the Zenyatta who ults in a grab, not the Lucio, and losing Shadow Dragon so early on. That's
yeah, well, we saw how effective it was when the Zenyatta falls. You see that obviously Mother fell when he was 91% to the Transcendence when the point was retaken by Vindication NA. You can see how important Zenyatta is in Zenyatta goes because you lose the Discord, you lose the healing, and you use that sustain which you can have with a Transcendence. And despite the layering of the support ultimates there for Team Nebula, they do win.
Is Not Spoons pulling a Defran? Is this guy pulling a Defran here? Please, dude. Please, don't you bait me, bro.
Unfortunately for Vindication, they wasn't able to touch the point. Those you mentioned, they had a trance to stall it out, but also TDT was 95% to Graviton, which is so unlucky, but you have to sort of ease it off now, move on to, well, and we will see the Orisa from both teams, and Not Spoons is sticking on this Torbjorn.
Not only that, but we have a Bastion Orisa slid up here. This is actually going to be a lot of damage. This shield break is going to go Vindication's way hardcore unless there's a miracle.
They also have the Baptiste field as well, which Team Nebula do not have. They have a Lucio instead, Lucio Zen, which is not enough healing really, you'd have to say, in comparison to a Baptiste Mercy. You can see Shadow Dragon already has that Baptiste ult for Vindication.
Nice rotation coming out, I would think, but this is so difficult to break this. Like, you gotta get off this Torb now. Listen, as excited as I was to see the Torbjorn, you're not gonna be able to work this whatsoever.
It's kicked off by Spectre. As I mentioned, Shadow Dragon's got the first ultimate online on that Baptiste. You see how quickly he's able to get that. And Team Nebula, they definitely have a disadvantage because they have a Lucio Zen healing, and they're not running dive. So they're definitely going to lose the Pokeball with that amount of healing and the amount of damage which Vindication are running. The Baptiste ult does come out their amplification field, they just back out of it. Not Spoons has now made the switch over to the Widowmaker. Again, an interesting decision, probably just trying to snipe this Pharaoh out of the sky. Again, it kind of has to work around this shield, and they don't have that much shield break, so interesting decision to switch to the Widowmaker. Take form's going to come in by TDT and just create some bit more space here. We could see them rotating constantly. Detective Eye is going to pick up what 2, actually, because he will get their D-Mech. 2 ults committed by Vindication NA, and they're going to raise the second guys after he falls. The Dragons is going to be coming up by Milkman It looks like he's about to jump off. It looks like that's probably a composition switch going to be coming in now for Team Nebula. Advantage right now for Vindication. They've looked very solid. The rotations are definitely coming out for Team Nebula, but everywhere they go, they're just faced by a bunch of damage dealers, and late kick coming into lap there as well.
They're just going to be going goats now, but I think we're just going to be, honestly, man, just melted down as they come in here. The good thing is there's not going to be a big defensive support ultimate to really stop this goats push, but I mean, they're just going to be like leading lambs to a slaughter right now. Is there going to be a nice rotation
they
coming out?
have to get aggressive here. The rotation's going to come out again, not for the first time Vindication are making these rotations very quickly. I was about to mention that they had to use the sound barrier to get in, but they commit both support ultimates to get into this team fight to make sure they can get on top of this Bastion cover. And even then it doesn't work, as Vindication just back out again. That bomb almost goes down the well, but it will pick up lap on a Lucio beforehand. Mother will pick up TDT though. The Bastion's dead, but the Razor's going to come in. Clinch is also going to fall, Not Spoon's going to fall after taking out Virex. Bomb's just going to be coming in by JTech. He's built that up quite quickly, but it's only going to take out the bomb goes. Fight seems to be turning around right now for Team Nebula. This composition switch to goats seems to have worked. Again, though, they've committed both support ults to be able to get there, but obviously they don't have much.
Diva gets the kill onto McMahon!
They don't have much. So
just bring some Hammond swap now. And yeah, if you're a Baby Diva versus Hammond, I mean, who's really going to win this one?
Vindication, they're just staying on point right now. They're just stalling for long enough to get back. They step off the point there for a second, so they won't give percentage, but they do have ults here. Both DPS ults, and there is TDT is going to use his Bastion ult, and they don't have Transcendence right now. Muddermud's going to have to be very quick to get it, to be able to get some of this damage, but no kills is actually going to come in for it. All of it's going to be eaten, and Not Spoons, though, will fall, but it's going to be a boot from lap onto the Diva. It's a 1-for-1 trade. The Diva and the Brig are down. Advantage, most likely, you would say here for Team Nebula, especially now that Shadow also falls late, very close to the application field. And Team Nebula, when it looked down and out, they're able to come back with this goats composition. Right now they're playing ball goats, as it's now called.
I don't know what Mav Warrior's percentage of what his health was when he got booped into that well, but if you could go back and look at the VOD, Lab probably got an insane amount of ult charge if he ended up getting that confirmed when Mav was at a good amount of HP, because that would have been like a ton for your Soundberry, going from like 600 and plus the 150 from the Baby Diva too.
Well, they have both support ults on live just to see if they commit both of them. This time they're just going to use the one Transcendence. But there's the mines as well. There is the barrier coming in now afterwards by that. Interesting enough, Vindication staying on this DPS sort of composition. The second Eyes is going to get a double kill. Two supports are down, but they trade out the Bastion and the Orisa. The Raze is going to come in by VSP, but he's just going to get grabbed in by Milkman. TDT. Rez does pick off Mudder. They also do have the Tower of Mercy still alive here. Milkman's actually going to fall as well. It's kind of turning around right now for Vindication. JTech tries to go for a massive bomb, doesn't get killed. VSP takes that with the DPS Mercy comes out. It's turning around for Vindication, but they still haven't taken control of the point yet. Not Spoon's going to be coming back on the Vegeta with this rally, trying to get a boop there, but it doesn't work. He's going to lose his life. TDT is going to pick up 2 kills there. Milkman tries to come back on the Doofus. He instantly gets deleted. Vindication just need to take this point back right now. They've been massive advantage. It's a huge stall by Team Nebula, but they will switch right at the last second. No time for mistakes.
And that's
now,
a nightmare
Varex
scenario.
has the bongos. Damage amplified for the entire team in line of sight there for Vindication and A. I don't think they're going to be able to stall this out. So only a Tracer left for Not Spoons. He's very low. He doesn't even have a recall anymore. And we're going to be going equal here on Ilios.
As we see the mass suicide into the well now.
I was about to mention the fact that it was interesting how Vindication stayed on that Bastion Tower of Mercy for so long when they didn't have point control. A lot of people, for a while, when you have an Orisa, they do say it's a lot harder to retake the point with an Orisa after you've lost it. So it was interesting how they didn't make the switches. They stayed on it, they built up the ultimate, just saw the second size, gets a 2-man on the barrage, takes out 2 supports, and that's the turning point there. TDT on that Bastion, just doing constant damage to the goat's composition, and eventually it worked for them.
It may have been because Chintz was on the Hammond. Maybe they saw that as like a bit of a weakness of their composition that they could take advantage of. Or I didn't catch what the all charge was for the Orisa, but potentially as well, man. If you have that supercharger available, that could give your team so much alt charge of 50% extra damage that it might be worth going to.
We did see the bongos come out for that last fight, and we're going to have a complete contrast here because we now have Vindication playing the Zenyatta Goats, and Team Nebula are coming out with a Widow Found Mercy of their own with dive tanks. So compositions are going to switch now for the team playing DPS and the team playing Zen Goats. Point control is going to go to Vindication. They definitely have advantage on the point here. They're a little bit split though, not really playing together as a team. Clinch just getting in there on that Winston, trying to do a lot of poke damage. JTech to replace that for ESP. Clinch
able to
is going
get
to
healed
force
up.
charge. JTech picks off 2. All supports are down for Vindication. They will take first point control, but I don't think they'll have it for very long, and they really won't, as most people are just going to fall. It's just TDT left on this Diva now. I was about to mention that if they did lose that first team fight, it wouldn't surprise me if Team Nebula did switch to their own GOATS composition. But interesting now to see if Vindication decide they want to try and counter the dive.
I think
the Final Mercy,
Vindication
or
should go
stay
to
on
a
GOATS.
should go Dotes, man. I think we should have Varric swap onto the Winston, help deal with that Pharah and the Widowmaker. It can make all the difference. Instead, opting to stick on the Zen Goats.
And Milkman already has Barrage here. They're going all the way around. There's a long flank coming in for Vindication. Remember, this entire time they are giving up point control. Remember, this game is all about objectives. Early Barrage could be coming in. That most likely, literally all of that's going to be defense matrix. Somebody literally gets through the last second though to pick up Virex on that Reinhardt. The Reinhardt is down. Dyslexic Eyes also loses his life. So the Vegeta is down. Reds are going to come into Milkman.
Why?
The Transcendence is committed by Shadow Dragon here. I have no idea why. I think it was forced out by Clinch's Primal Rage. Mudder gets a nice late
Just
pick there.
die!
So Nav, JTech to commit that bomb
Oh
even though it's
man,
not
you're
needed.
using bomb too? Are you out of your mind? I'm sorry, I just don't understand that.
A lot of sort of, you'd have to say little mistakes coming in by Vindication.
Little?
The chance
These are
gets used,
huge, man. Listen, man, we're on Greece for a reason, bro. You want to talk about economy? The alt economy just got completely obliterated, man. This is an economic crash.
And it's actually being reset as Verex switches off to that Winston, commits the Shadow away from it. VSP is also going to switch. Sexcise is going to go to a Reaper now, with TDT going to this Widow battle. But it's a bit too late now. Look how much percentage they've given up. Gravity's just sort of just chucked in there. It's going to connect with 3, 2 of them being support. The trans is committed late by Mudder. Mudder doesn't use it to keep Not Spoons alive. Both Resis are going to come back into it. Sorry, English. We're back to a 6v6. TDT is going to get a pick onto Clinch though. Doing kind of good work already on this Widow. Again, Milkman's Barrage is just going to be eaten. Well, not eaten, sorry, it's just actually going to miss completely. But they're studying the kill feed right now for Team Nebula. TDT is actually going quite big though on this Widowmaker. Consistent pick, he's already built up 2, he's in for sight. There's another pick, as I mentioned, it looks like they are turning us around Vindication after making these swaps, but you'd have to say it's very dubious how they have been able to do this. And 99% they're still committing here, Team Nebula, they're not giving up. That's going to commit the wings here, the Valkyrie, and Clinch is also going to commit the Primal Rage. Vindication, they haven't took this point, they've had massive advantage and got so many kills. And there's another huge one by Shadow to take out Lat. The Mercy is now down. They're going to pop their own Valk as well. Shadow Dragon gets another kill on to Clinch, and Virex is also going to pop his Primal Range just to try and clear up here. 3 ults again committed by, well, it's last fight right now for Vindication. They don't care how many ultimates they really commit. TDT is going to get a nice pick onto Baby Diva, and I think eventually they will turn this point around, but it's a massive stall by Team Nebula there.
So much, man. You have McMahon go onto the Hammond to try to like make the miracle play here. And in that whole process, man, they were never going to really take that point back. And as a result, you know, you look at how the All Charge here has fared, and you also see now Team Nebula the ones going on to Goats versus this bizarre Winston Hammond Reaper Widow composition. This is like, what is this, like Talon with a Talon recruited hamster to her team?
Oh, there is the Reaper coming in. 2 people are down, Milkman being one of them. Charge going to come in by Clinch, but he's just going to get a headshot in the face by TDT. Now he knows how his teammate feels there. In the Vegeta, JTech's also just going to get denecked by the Hammond. An early team fight won there. The second Ice is now going to make the switch after using the Revolt to the Pharah. Most obvious sort of switch to make to try and counter the Zenyatta Goats. Early Infosight's going to be coming out by TDT. Percentage is ticking right now for Vindication. We have to remember, this is the last map right now. If they take this, they level the series. If they don't, they go 2-0 down. And potentially one map off just losing the grand finals and then.
Oh,
early pick though by Mudder. That's a huge pick. TDT is down. Looks like the race is going to be done. Yes, it will be. Mine's going to come out. Diva Bot's going to be thrown in by Jake. That doesn't actually get any picks the first time. Shadow's going to pick up Lat. It's going to be huge.
And Mudder.
These Zens right now are actually coming in clutch at separate times. They're going to commit the Transcendence to stay alive here. Shadow, I think it got low. correct me if I'm wrong here, I believe he got low, that's why he committed it after the team fight was won. But look at the percentages already, and Team Nebula, they haven't even built up any ultimates. Milkman's only got 40% of the
I talked about the economy before. It's like Germany came in with a huge surplus package or something, man, because right now the fortunes have absolutely turned, and
they're going to touch the point. They get it on just at the last second, but the lap's going to fall to the pole driver. He's also going to pick up clinch. 2 people are down. Guard comes in by deflecting his eyes, ends up killing himself from the Arista shield, I think that was. TTT just popping off on the Widowmaker, is just kind of uncontested, picks up from Mother. And just like that, just when it looks, Team Nebula were just rolling. Vindication NA make this composition switch over to this kind of weird composition with the Widow, and they take Ilios. What a comeback. We have to remember, they lost the first map there of Ilios. So they do the 2-1 reverse sweep to level up the series. It's just like my prediction said. We'll go into Hanamura with a map apiece. TDT playing the game on this Bastion.
Yeah, playing ball versus Bastion always can be quite troublesome unless your team is coordinating with you, and even then it can still be a struggle. And I mean, who really expects to go up against a Bastion on Ilios? Well, as you see Muda heal me stats, man. Nearly 10k healing on a round of Transcendence. Always big to see your Zenyatta come up with that, but unfortunately did not come up with the victory.
I mean, we mentioned about, we have to discuss this, and I hate to discuss this, but we see that Team Nebula, they make the switch. They switch to that Zenyatta goat when they've gave up like 20% on the point. But they don't build up a normal. The Graviton Surge is never built up. They had the Diva Bomb from the previous fight before that. If you look, they didn't build up any of the ultimates from using that goat's composition because they just died so quickly, and it does make you think maybe they were better off staying on the DPS comp that they were running and just trying to just literally skill against skill, just trying to outskill Vindication rather than just go, oh lol, let's go goat's forehead. And then to be honest, they left the Widow uncontested, and TDT, he made them pay. You could see him constantly getting some clutch picks. The Brigitte fell twice in a row, I believe it was, to a headshot. That's a huge amount of healing down, especially because the armor pack is the only sort of value thing that can be thrown out really in terms of instant healing of the goat's composition. So the brig falls, you have a very big challenge to win that next team fight. I think praise has to go to Vindication. You know, they lost the first map of Route 66. They was a bit dubious on that, you know. So just bad decisions coming in from, you'd have to say, from Team Nebula more. Twice they doubled their support ultimates there on Ilios for no particular reason. So Team Nebula definitely making a few mistakes, and Vindication took advantage of it. And I think, as you said, Master, it is about, you know, maybe taking them by surprise. Maybe they didn't expect the Bastion to come out. Maybe they didn't expect to stay on Bastion for as long as they did, even after losing the team fight. And, you know, in the end, if you give anyone time and room, any Widowmaker can hit those shots. So, you know,
not me.
Maybe it was, well, most Widowmakers would be able to hit that shot at this level. At least you would expect them to at least hit one in one team fight. But overall, we have to mention the Zenyatta's, a Shadow Dragon on that Zenyatta. Again, I was mentioning about the damage that TDT was doing on the Widowmaker relying on the site, but obviously.
Well, hey man, I will take that as a clean segue into the team bios for Vindication NA here. I'm going to jump right to Shadow Dragon, whose bio just says, I play a nutty Zen. Can confirm, right? So Shadow Dragon, hailing from the state of OPA, playing a nutty Zen. Well done. So left to right, you got Varix here playing the main tanks for Team Vindication NA. Been playing since Season 1. Same, brother. I see you. Mav Warrior coming in. He's won Season 3 of Masters Division at AGL, and he's won the Overguard. Looking to complete, I guess, the console Triple Crown here. Taking home the dub here in Console Gaming League's multi-tier tournament. VSP been playing for 12 years. I guess just 12 years of competitive gaming, and this is the first tournament. Well, yeah, right. So VSP, you're doing. Titan, yeah. Who knows? But doing pretty well in your first tournament. Dyslexic guys, play games all your life. Playing competitively has always been a goal for me. Well, consider goal checked, brother. I think this is Yeah, you're doing pretty well for yourself so far. And then TDT over here on the hit scan specialist, champion of AGL as well, soon to be champion of CGL Tier 4. Ooh, a little bit of confidence coming out here. Team Nebula is going to have to step it up if they're going to dash the hopes of TDT here.
But you didn't really see Notspoons do a lot on the Widowmaker. I'm not saying he did poorly, but he didn't have the same impact that TDT definitely had on the Widow. Hanamura, it's another map potentially where we're going to see these bunker comps come out.
We're not done the bios, dude.
Oh yeah, we are. Yeah. I just wrapped up the bio. Let's just switch this back over to the match chat, and we're gonna we can talk about Hanamura a little bit.
Yeah. So Hanamura is bunker compositions were about TC is very popular on defense. So it wouldn't surprise me if Vindication bring out the Bastion again. We have to remember this has been a side switch now. So Vindication are now the blue team and Team Nebula are now the red team. So it's switched from the previous two fights. That's what we do in CGL. Massive, what are you expecting? Are you expecting bunker again? Because obviously Hanamura is known to be a main bunker comp. Or are you expecting maybe a goats v goats matchup again?
Man, honestly, man, I think that with Bunker can work so well on Hanamura, as you mentioned. That, I wouldn't be surprised to see it. Also, it doesn't look like either team really wants to play GOATs, even when situations arise and they really should. Yeah, maybe neither team really is confident in it. I really don't know at this point in time. So yeah, Bunker obviously very, very good here. Wouldn't be shocked if we see that. I also do want to point out, I did say earlier incorrectly that Bunker counters dive. What I meant to say was the version of Bunker that was being run on Street Stays in Route 66 with double hit scan was not an optimal form of Bunker and would therefore have been susceptible to GOATs. So I just want to make that optimal.
I'm actually just reading chat. Someone's actually make a very good point about the VSP. Apparently he's age 16, but he has 12 years of experience. So apparently he started playing competitive when he was 4.
Bro, prodigy, man.
That information's not. I don't know if that information's quite right. We might have to double check that. But if that's true, props to him. Playing at 4 years old, playing it for 12 years, and still sticking with it afterwards. I mean, each to their own. I wish I could have done that. So Hanamura.
I was gonna say I'm so old, man. I didn't even bat an eye. I was like 12 years ago. I'm pretty sure that's when Halo 2 came out. Probably been playing since then.
Let's actually Google that, shall we?
Dude, it's gotta been.
Okay, Master's gonna Google.
Take it away, Optimus.
I know Master's just gonna Google when Halo 2 came out, rather than focus on the game. But on the defense here, we're not.
2004, November 9th, 2004.
Massa, I have to get your opinion on this defense coming out by Vindication.
Well, I like the attack even more, dude. I look at the attack. What is this going to be?
Are these teams got confused who's on attack and who's on defense? You've got a Bastion Sim May.
Okay, I like the sim strat moment. I like using the teleporter to just bypass to this room, completely bypass a lot of this damage. And we're going to be taking to the high ground now. This is a strat. I think we saw, was it the Hunters run this? In
I think
OWL?
It was the Hunters, yeah. I think these teams forget that on defense and attack we have a mainly defense comp on attack and a mainly attack comp on defense. Whatever, we'll see who actually gets the first hit
inside that immortality field. We're gonna go onto that Bastion, trying to do as much damage as humanly possible.
A lot of poke damage coming in. He's gonna lose his life, and so's a clinch. So poke damage coming back in. They have two obviously projectiles here on defense with the Junkrat and the Pharaoh. You could just see the amount of spam damage just going down on to Team Nebula's attack there. They will get a late pick onto TDT, but a little bit of a boot coming in there by Command, I believe, on the Bastion. DPS Mercy's going to come out over late kill and Shadow, but I don't think that's really going to mean anything, because right now Lap's kind of stuck behind on this
Just die! Your death is inevitable! It's inevitable, dude! Just die! Oh,
he almost made it out! He almost made that out! Sorry to talk over you there. He somehow almost made that out. Late, really late.
You would have had a man advantage going into that if you had of.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Immortality feels perfect though. Wow. Sorry, Mudder. That was just perfect time. I was about to say, for some reason they're still taking this without their mercy. They tried to get aggressive. The barrage comes in. I thought right then the fight was over, but the immortality seal by Mudder does enough to keep them alive, but Milkman kills himself. I think they're resetting here.
Yeah.
They're now resetting after losing the Mercy in the last fight and trying to take a fight without her. Interesting decision coming in by Team Nebula. I think you mentioned...
This comp isn't bad per se, but I don't understand not spoons on the Mei. You have the Blizzard now, you may as well use it, but overall, I just think there's a better hero choices like Diva that could be run here with this competition to help you out a bit more, deal with that spam. Instead, the Mei, I don't get it. I really don't.
Yeah, I do have to mention, I think you mentioned at the start of the stream, Master, or Swift mentioned it. What is a record for Team Nebula? I think they had quite a good record, but right now they're certainly not playing like that right now. 7-1, they're certainly not playing like that right now.
Nebula is on the Nebula is on the attack right here, and finally able to get the pick. Nice ice cube to block out that tire as well.
Yes, the ult's finally coming in. Looks like they just commit a bunch of ults now, and Team Nebula will eventually get their point percentage capped here. And looks like they will probably take first point. I can't see any weak tests going to be coming in by Vindication, and they're probably just going to regroup with the ults which they do have. They did only commit a tire in that last team fight. A lot more ults was committed on the attack. There we go, 5 minutes. Still, some people would argue that's not fair. They get 4 minutes after that. I agree, but you know what? We're not in control of the game, so...
Well, hey, you know what? It wasn't an overtime, and therefore there wasn't a bizarre, like, you know, respawn time or advantage. But here's what the sim does allow for. The sim allows for these kind of engagements that you wouldn't otherwise have on this side with these hero choices.
Well, Tilt's committed here, but no kills for Team Nebula.
The damage fall off is still pretty great on this Bastion, honestly, but here's some big
picks
coming out. Yeah.
Caster's Curve coming in right there. As soon as I mentioned they don't get single kill, 2 people fall. There's 2 Heath picks as well, because it's the Farah and the Mercy, 2 damage dealers that are out. Milk manages to clean up J-Tech as well. Bombs going to be going out by Mav Warrior, just could test any sort of contest there on the defense, just trying to get something done. Statistic Size comes from behind on the Farah, gets 2 picks, but will lose his life to J-Tech on this sim. He also gets a turret kill onto VSP on the Mercy there. Spawn advantage is definitely going to be coming in here. Somehow that res gets off by Lap. I have no idea how he managed to get that off. And they've turned this around here on the defense. With Farah, Shadow Dragon and Mav Warrior. The second guys have now made a switch to Junkrat himself on the Farah, and TDT's gone over to the Bastion. I don't know how that res was even able to get off by Lap, but it didn't actually influence the actual map there.
The shatter was pretty weird too,
I was about to say,
man.
Maza, what happened with that shatter, man?
I would have to go and rewatch the VOD, man. Maybe I'll do some VOD reviews in the future. Who knows? Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Not Spoon sticking onto this Mei right now, opting to go with this Mei Goats, and this Bastion's about to be frozen, which is so huge.
Bye-bye, Bastion. The Reinhardt actually of Clinch, I have no idea where he is, but he's sort of on the opposite side of the map there, I believe he was with that Reinhardt charge. Just find his way back to the point there eventually. Oh, that's a huge freeze onto Vogue. The VSP goes a bit DPS, take that mother, there's any down.
Dude, VSP gets the kill and gets the res! This guy is absolutely insane on this character, dude. The Mercy plays, bro, but coming in so clutch.
And TDT is just going to clear up with that tank form after he resets, and just like that, again, solid defense coming in by Vindication. Obviously, they do have the spawn advantage. They have sacrificed the tick, so it's not overall solid, but it will have the Zenyatta goats now coming out. But
the psychological damage it does to your psyche when a Mercy gets the kill on you, regardless of what hero you're playing, it gets into your head. It's like Tor with the hammer.
It's that 12 years of experience, man.
Hey, there you go.
I just watched the VOD back there, and it looked like the Mei blocked the shatter from Clinch on the attack. So huge play coming in by whoever was playing Mei at that point. It switched off. Stack's Eyes is going to pick off Clinch with that tie. VSP again is going to get another kill on Not Spoon. This time the Begita's going to fall to the battle on the Mercy.
Oh, look at the stagger right now coming onto the... a bit too much. See, what he wanted to do there, he wanted to go for the really cheeky charge, and like hopefully the Diva survives so it lasts even longer. Very hard to do at this point in Hanamuraville, of course, but, you know, nonetheless, I'll let it slide.
Yeah, I think maybe someone in chat can re-see it, but from what I saw from that replay, it was whoever was on Mei ended up blocking Clinchy's shatter. He was a little early, the animation, and he got blocked by the Mei ice block. And that shatter's just going to get destroyed. as he drops the shield in front of the amplification shield and the Bastion. That's going to happen too, unfortunately.
Running goats against this particular bunker variation, man, it's just so difficult. Unless your goats is super extremely well coordinated, it's just not going to work, man. I mean, I remember watching Soul Dynasty go against Gladiators on Paris, and their goats composition against bunker was absolutely obliterated. They never swapped off. This is just a bad call, honestly, man.
This is just spam coming by the status slides to go pick up that spin. Someone, Headrammer was actually just mentioned in chat, maybe he does have 12 years experience VSP, the way he's been playing on this Mercy right now. So Vindication, they did commit the Bastion ult there just to zone out a little bit more time. Look at the time bank, they had 5 minutes Team Nebula had. They're down to 30 seconds. But they finally have the Graviton Surge by Milkman. It's taken this long to actually generate it to be used. I think he did have it in the last team fight, but they just lose the Bastion. There is the bomb. That somehow gets Mudda Mudda. He had Transcendence, but decides not to commit it. They're going to use... That's going to use the barrier. But he's just going to lose his life to TDT on the Bastion there. It's just a cleanup right now for Vindication, and I think that's a team wipe. I don't know if anyone's alive to even touch. Mudda Mudda's transcending back from Spawn, but he just gets body blocked by Math Warrior, and eventually we killed. No one could touch. Only a tick is sacrificed for Vindication and their defense. Looking very sorry when they've gone to this bunker competition, and that means that we will now avoid a draw at Hanamura as well, because there was percentage taken.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know if it's possible to get the same exact amount of percentage onto CP. I've never really researched it. I know payload you can technically draw. I've seen it, but to CP, I don't know. I don't know.
The only way, because they sacrificed a tick on the second point, if they'd held the second point without giving up a tick, and then Team Nebula held the second point without giving up a tick, then it would be a draw.
Yes.
Because no percentage would have been taken at all, but because a tick was sacrificed, it now means a draw is no longer available. I believe that's right. Anyway, maybe someone correct me if they want to do.
Yeah. I mean, a draw is beyond the point of unlikely now. It's like super unlikely. It's like going from Super Saiyan and Super Saiyan 2 was a big difference. I mean, having like that exact percentage on the point is very, very difficult. I'll need to test it, honestly. That's something someone needs to test just for future reference, but yeah, not gonna happen.
I actually just realised 50.8% was taken on the second point, which I believe is more than one tick. So
it's one tick. It's one tick.
That is one tick. It's weird how the percentages. It's weird how the percentages have sort of glitched out like that. Ignore me, but it looks like on defense we do have the bunker composition. Surprise. I mean, they ran it on attacks, but why not run it on defense as well?
Torb Bastion. Okay.
Torb Bastion May, and they're just going to sit on this high ground.
Hey, defense heroes rise up.
TDT on the May themselves. They're also going from the sim here to set the guys on the sim. So Vindication also going to go for this sim.
Look at these May walls, bro. How often do you see two teams run May at the same time? This is like season 2 Apex stuff.
Huge Peabody will lose his life to click it, but the May is down, and that's also going to fall to McWarrior on the Diva. He's come flanking around, the race is going to be made by VSP, and just like that, they might have a broken competition, but it just gets broken instantly by Vindication. Looking very solid here after bouncing back from Route 66. It's just a cleanup right now. That's so quick. Over 7 minutes to basically take 2 points.
The problem is they took that so quick. They didn't really build up that many all charge. I mean, yeah, you're gonna have the shatter of this fight. Mav Warrior, depending on how well he does, man. And the problem is that Mickman staying on this Bastion, Jay staying on the Torb. As I say that, Caster Kurtz gets a kill on his Lexi, has to be res back up.
The res is there though for a reason. Suicide charge coming in, just gets walled. I think maybe that was deliberate. I'm not sure. Bastion's gonna fall though. Milkman falls. Res has to be made by Lap if they want to bring that damage back. Does it look like they're actually gonna go for it? They're just building up the ultimates right now. Vindication. Sometimes it's better to build up ultimates in the team. Like that Warrior, absolutely ginormous. Gets a 4K and the turret, and just like that, it's over. Please, someone in chat, click that. That is a huge deeper bomb. I didn't even comment on it because I didn't think
we are in Japan, bro. Nagasaki and Hiroshima, dude, eat your heart out, bro. Absolutely insanity.
Maybe a little fun, Master. Maybe a little fun. It's not even playing the game as well. Again, Blizzard going fantastic with these playing the games. That is an absolutely huge. But can you remind me of what Vindication NA's record was? Because you mentioned Team Nebula was 7-1. So what was Vindication's NA
6-2. 6-2.
So 6-2. So similar records. Obviously, they've lost one more game, then they've won, but they're looking very solid. Vindication. They've bounced back from Route 66, where they made a few mistakes. You do have to say on their attack. Obviously, not going to Goats was probably the main one, really. And we have to mention, obviously, King Drove's next. Scrimjoy, whatever you want to call it. Very heavy Goats map. Neither one of these teams have ran Goats versus Goats. If one team's ran Goats, another team's run a different comp. We haven't seen these teams.
We saw Goats v Goats on Ilios, I do believe, on Lighthouse, though.
We did see it on Lighthouse for a little while, yes, but that map was over quite quickly. So they sort of just took first point control, didn't they, Team Nebula, and didn't really give it up until right at the end. And even then, they only gave it up thanks to the fire strike. So we have seen the Goats v Goats matchup, but that's on control. It's a completely different than running it onto a hybrid map like King Drove, for example. So I do expect to see a Goats v Goats matchup here on King Drove. Either that, or we're going to have some wacky DPS comps coming out again by Vindication. I'm talking the Junkrat.
Or you see the Sombra Goats maybe come out, or maybe you see some weird Goats variant with a Pharah. I mean, there's a lot of things that you do see run in Masters that, and even in GM on console, because of how the funding is for VC, and a lot of it's very grassroots. A lot of these teams don't have coaches getting paid an insane amount, so the strategies can be more wacky. I do quite like that about console. Honestly, it has its own little niche to it, and so I think we could see a lot of variant on King's Row going forward.
King's Row is obviously, as I mentioned, it's become a Goats for Goats, but before Goats was meta, there was a lot of DPS that was ran on this, a lot of DPS comps that were ran, and both of these teams seem to favour running the DPS comps, and you'd have to argue, especially for Vindications, they look a lot better when they're on DPS comps than they do when they're on Goats. So maybe it's a case of they might be good at Goats, but they feel like they can actually show their potential more when they're on a DPS comp. And if Swift just remembers just to switch the team names around so no one gets confused, as we've now had another composition, another side switch of Vindication is now the red team again, who will be on attack first for King's Row, and Team Nebula will be the defense. And we have to remember, this is a potential last map of the grand finals here for Vindication, and Team Nebula, you mentioned about the fact that they've only lost one game. How do they get back into this? Is there one mistake which you think they're making, or is it...
Stay hydrated, bot, reminding me, I need to get another beer, I'll be right back.
Okay, rather than not answer the question, Swift, do you have any insight that you want to bring in here?
It's not a good amount. That's not a way to stay hydrated. Stay hydrated, bot's my favorite. Drink lots of water, guys. No, man. So I don't know what they did to come back in. I think the big difference for Vindication at this point is, I mean, their ult management seems to be a little cleaner. And I mean, let's be fair. The game of Overwatch is run pretty heavily on, like, it relies heavily on skill, but like a lot of sports, there's a dash of luck here, right? Like, the stars had to align for that self-destruct to come through and get the 4K to close out Hanamura. Because you figure that self-destruct doesn't land, or maybe picks up one kill, that fight gets drawn out, Vindication maybe gets rebuffed, they burn another 2 minutes off the clock, and we have a same situation we're in right now, because 2 CP can be an absolute nightmare. So I think Vindication tightened up a lot of their gameplay from the initial map there on Route 66, where they just looked incredibly sloppy, right? And now they're playing hella strong, but also a couple of things have fallen their way, right? They've made a couple of impressive changes, and the chips are starting to fall for them. So I think there's a couple of things.
Yeah, and again, I'm just going to say the side names need to be switched if you can, please. It'd be very nice.
Yep.
To help us out as well as chat. You did mention about the first map, and it does make me think, and I mean, it's very possible, maybe it was just nerves. I mean, look, this is a grand finals. There's money on the line here. This is not just a normal 6-stack game in comp. This is a key game for these players, to win a tournament. And maybe it was just nerves that came into that first map. Maybe Team Nebula were riding the hype of only losing one game, throughout the regular season.
I don't think it was nerves, and I'll tell you why. They took point A very decisively. It was this, they completely collapsed on Streets phase. They didn't really have a game plan to deal with the bizarre Orisa hit scan bunker. Maybe they just relied very heavily on the Pharah, you know, and when your Pharah gets picked off like that, and we saw again the Pharah be used on the offense as well to pretty good effect until, of course, you get to point B. But when you're Pharah, when you have a team, like on the Xbox, I think there's some teams as well that rely very heavily on their Pharah play. When you shut down that carry potential of the Pharah, it changes the way you have to play, and so we have to go out of your comfort zone. So Kings are one of those maps where you can run the Widowmaker, you can shut down a Pharah, but Pharah, as we've also seen, can be very effective as well. So I think it's going to really hinder on that potentially.
I mean, yeah, I'm saying maybe it was nerves because the mistakes that were being made by Vindication were mistakes that you wouldn't normally expect, but we then did see, I do have to mention it again, and I hate to mention it, we saw in Ilios, there was twice where Team Nebula overlapped the support ults for no reason. So it looked like since Route 66, that for Ilios, they sort of switched off slightly, especially after taking the first point of Ilios. They just seem to switch off for the second ones. And again, now on Hanamura, they were just making mistakes. You mentioned like winning the GOATs into that comp, it just wasn't really going to work. But I guess maybe they were thinking they were kind of had their hands tied for what was actually going to run against that competition, because sometimes you can't prepare for these competitions, because even if you do scrim every single day, it's not saying that those teams are going to bring out these competitions, you know, the Bastion, the May, the Torb, you know. You don't normally expect that when you scrim, most of the time anyway, unless you scrim some random team and you force them to play those competitions, and you can learn to
it's
play
like
around
preparing to play Chengdu. You know, you got to ask your academy team, hey guys, can you please run Wrecking Ball? Can you please run this triple DPS comp against us? Or how do you prepare against a team like Clockwork Vendetta? Again, I might be doing something for them in the future. We'll see, hint, hint, nudge, nudge. A team where they rely so heavily on their Torb one trick for Torb and their May, bro. And this is a team that's 2-0 currently in Contenders Trials. How do you prepare against Engineer on the Torbjorn? It's absolutely mind-blowing what this guy can get done. I
mean, yeah, I can't remember who mentioned. I think Jane mentioned it at one point actually in one of his vlogs or something. He mentioned about how they had a scrim against Chengdu. It was at the home games actually, and they said like a scrim against Chengdu is just basically a scrim against Chengdu because you never get to actually practice what you want to because of what they run. So yeah. You know, it is completely random. It's very rare that you're going to find a team and be like, we want you to run these competitions against us, because they want to practice their own things. It might be a bit different obviously if you have two teams, so you know, we have Vindication and A, Vindication and EU. I don't know if they scrim each other, maybe they do, maybe they don't. But I can use my example for I can use my example of being PPS and PDM. We scrim together all the time, so we have the potential to be able to go, okay, we need you to play this comp so we can practice around it. But not every team's going to have that luxury, and especially if a team's well drilled at a bunker composition, it makes it extremely hard to crack. It's not just as simple as, oh, we'll just go this, we'll just break the shield and then we win. No, there's a lot more thinking that has to go behind it against a more experienced team in bunker. And we saw that on Route 66, how quick the defense fell for Team Nebula. So for Vindication with their bunker comp though, but they've tidied it up since then. So they've learned as the series goes on. I mean, Kigro is interesting because
it's also crazy, man. To interrupt, we've seen Bastion on the winning side now 3 times so far in the series. Bastion has just been like the kryptonite, oddly enough, which, you know, hey, you know, I love me some Bastion, I love me some Symmetra too, and able to see these niche hero picks come out, hey, you know, I dig it.
So here we are, we go into London. Is it a sunny day in England? No, it's raining like normal. What a surprise.
Hey, I like the rain, man.
CSP on his home ground, as we mentioned, obviously from the UK, popping off right now on that Mercy. I think we mentioned the support play. It was on Ilios. We mentioned about Shadow Dragon on the Zenyatta, about how he was like constantly getting picks, but we do have to mention about the VSP as well, on that Mercy, who that support duo right now for Vindication have certainly done very well for their team in terms of, obviously they have a massive job to keep them alive, but not only are they keeping them alive, but they're making these plays to see VSP going for a bit of DPS Mercy, get to res off, which changes the thing, changes the whole fight, you know. So the supports have also contributed, and I think that's what makes a team is being able to have those supports that at times can pop off and carry a fight. You know, we see it all the time. New York puts so much resources into drone actually. For example, Violet did it for San Francisco Shock the other day in the grand finals. You know, support still can also do damage, and I think a lot of people forget that sometimes. And I think you mentioned it, Massa. When a Mercy kills you, it doesn't matter what hero you're playing. It kind of gets you a bit, you know, bit angry maybe a little bit.
Well, let's see if they can turn this anger into something productive, like my buddy Samito just did, apparently today on Twitter. I don't know what that's about, but whatever. Anyways, this Widow pick might be going for just one shot, then a swap off. Maybe you're going to see what they're running, but maybe you get off this. Because running Widow against Goats,
Well, I mean, we do have to look back to Ilios. TDT played it on Ilios Ruins against Goats and tore it apart, so maybe he's sticking on it because he feels confident on this hero, but we will have the Zenyatta Goats coming out on defense here for Team Nebula. Remember, side switch against the Vindication NA are on attack, so they are your red team, and Team Nebula are the blue team on defense. Winning the Ryan Zaya, and again, we mentioned about the Farah, that's also came back out again on attack now. So a lot of damage. I think right now they're just playing a poke wall right now with Vindication. They're waiting for that one pick from their DPS. There is a D-Mech by a Mad Warrior.
Yeah, that's going to open things up.
That's going to open things up. That is the pick that they need here. They're going to go a bit aggressive. Both bubbles have been burnt though, so they're going to have to back up again. Just slowly but surely nudging onto this payload and nudging them further back as well. Looks like they're going to give up a tick here potentially. Clint goes a little bit aggressive. His shield's really low. You can see the spam damage coming to that shield. He can't hard up. Shatter's going to come in.
Block.
Farm clinch. It's going to be blocked, but
they trade out, but because the Mercy has the res, man, we're able to get right back into this one, and we're gonna fight this. We're gonna fight this down, man.
I mentioned about the VSP coming in huge with the res there on the Mercy and turning the fight on its head, and you see it again there. A lot of ults being committed there. 4 actually altogether being committed for Vindication NA on attack, but they don't mind. They're going to get this first point. They're also going to keep the Infocyte on the Shatter. So now you mentioned, you know, Fairx, he gets picked off by Clinch, who goes a little too aggressive after using his Shatter, which was blocked. Tries to follow up on it, ends up paying for his life, but Fairx will just get res. Not Spoons now.
Spoons has swapped onto the Widowmaker himself, but I find an early first pick that's going to be res back up though. And so now it's like running a pseudo Goats variant now with with Mercy Zen. But going to be filling in that Widowmaker in there, so still keeping triple tank.
Mudder's going to get an early pick onto TDT. We saw how good his Zenyatta also was as well on the last bit. So it's playing a little bit quiet since then. Shat comes in by Fairx, connects with 2. Not Spoons is going to take out defensive eyes. So the Farah is now down.
That is such a big confidence booster, man. You've killed the Widowmaker, you've killed the Farah, you're forcing Eyes now to swap onto the Hanzo. So we're going to be going double Sniper, maybe playing for that Dragon Strike Grav combo.
Well, look on defense right now for Team Nebula. They have a Grav Bomb combo, as well as both support ults of their own. Very big ultimate fight potentially going to be coming in here. Not Spoons again is going to take out TDT. Maybe TDT
he
just
died
wasn't
with wall hacks up too. So that
Shatter comes in, connects with 2. They're going to throw the bomb in afterwards. Clinch loses life of JTech. It's going to get a double kill. The grab comes in afterwards to clear up by Milkman. And it looks like it's solid hold so far for Team Nebula after taking up first point. I think we have to mention TDT the first time gets picked off by Not Spoons. Probably not expecting him, and again it's going to pick up VSP. That's going to delay the fight even more. And maybe he's just not expecting this Widowmaker, and Not Spoons is he's outplaying him right now, so TDT needs to get that form back which he was showing on Ilios. But I did mention on Ilios he wasn't pressured on Widowmaker. He had a lot more time to hit these shots, but now he does have the pressure of Not Spoons on this Widowmaker, and you can see so far that Not Spoons has won every single 1v1 since making the switch.
Oh, that's a big kill, though. Open things up.
Gravitating! Potential to turn it around, but Mudder's going to drop to Mav Warrior, and they're also going to get demet J-Tag, and Not Spoons is also going to fall as well. But it will be a clean up eventually with Vindication. The gravity was huge, but it's not going to turn the fight on the head, unfortunately, for Team Nebula. They will still lose it. You saw Clinch gets a little bit too aggressive, gets stuck on the side of the bookstore there, I believe it was. Very unlucky for that to happen, but they have both support ults coming back into the fight now in defense. I think Dragon's really
Yeah, but
available.
both support ultimates here just means Valk and Trank, so not Sound Barrier, obviously, which is completely. We're actually going to engage with Transcendence now to help one play aggressively, hopefully build up a Shatter.
Both support ults are used, and Not Spoons is going to reap that with a damage boost, take out VSP. Also going to take out Dyslexic Eyes with the help of the Discord and the Mercy, and TDT is also going to fall. They commit both of their support ults there, though, on defense to hold Team Nebula.
Here's the problem with this, though. Unless there's another big eat onto Mav Warrior's Graviton, they are going to have the wipe. They're going to have the Graviton, we're going to have the Hanzo ult, which even with just the Transcendence, you can still damage through that. So this is going to be very difficult, actually.
Both Shatters are lying. One Shatter's back to Dyslexic Eyes, going to lose his life. Both Shatters are actually blocked, in fact. Transcendence going to be used by Shadow to go forward to get the res off. Both grabs coming in, who gets a better follow-up. Oh! JTech gets a 4K bomb! He's taking tips.
With a
huge turnaround.
I was gonna say absolutely massive assist from Cinch Killer. You couldn't see, you guys may not have been able to see it where you were, but from where we were with the camera, you see Cinch Killer gets the pin on Varix, drops the shield, opens up the lane, and JTech hammers it home to pick up the 4K. Beautifully,
fantastic heads-up play. Yeah, absolutely fantastic.
I was about to mention TDT had enough of the Widow battle and moved on to McCree. He's now gone to the Hog, as they're now switching to Hog Goats. We don't have a really proper name for that yet, but they're bringing it out on attack here.
Vindication. Throw Goat, because this is just bizarre.
Oh, Shatter connects with 3. One of them being Verex and loses his life to Milkman, who's charged on that Zarya. Just going to go forward and get some late stakes.
And this is why you do not play Hog, because that's just going to be 600 HP worth of all charge, maybe even 900 with help from that the Hog healing. And JTech very close to yet another bomb.
TDT again's going to make a switch to D.Va now. From the Hog, probably just trying to touch the point to try and trigger overtime. Let's look at the time bank. There's only 7 seconds left. Not Spoons takes a dab. But I think that was a right click from Shadow there to take it to half HP. They do touch the point to trigger overtime though. Shatter's going to be in line for Verex. Bomb going to come out by JTech. Goes across and actually. Sorry, excuse me. Grabs eaten again! TDT is going to eat Milkman, so it's the other way around, and then he's going to take him out on the D.Va. Huge switch from TDT to switch off the Hog to the D.Va. Gets the eat. That's turned the fight around right there for Vindication NA. And unlike Team Nebula, when they hit the Graviton surge, it wouldn't mean that they win this team fight. Not Spoon's just going to stall for a little bit longer to give his team more time to respawn.
Yeah, it's going to take longer for him to respawn too. Jay died there, of course, too. And they swap also to the Lucio now, so it's going to be matching Zen Goats v Zen Goats. Are we going to take this contest, though? Shadow does have the Transcendence.
Sexai is going to use the rally instantly, just get him off point. They back off and give up the second point. They don't want to push into that rally armor. Second point is sacrificed for Team Nebula. Vindication NA looked like they were down and out. Solo was a solo grab, but Not Spoons jumps into it for some reason. 2 people fall, and just like that, Goat's composition is going to fall on defense. Vindication NA, they look like they potentially wasn't even going to get second point. Get a nice early team advantage here, and this payload's definitely going to be pushed around the corner, but they will have less than a minute, which means they won't get any more overtime.
Yeah, but look at the ultimate advantage, though, man. We want to talk about that again. Like, look at the whole war chest now. 4 ultimates available, 2 big defensive support ultimates available, as well as the Shatter and the Bomb. Bomb's going to be popped out. Bomb
that gets Milkman! He got stunned, I believe that was. I heard the stun come out. I don't know if it was on the Zarya. I heard the stun come out by Dyslexic Eyes. I think it was on the Zarya because he looked like he died when he probably had both bubbles. Probably does not need to fall there, especially when he has Graviton Surge as well. That's a huge pick for Vindication, and just like that, there is the grab just going to be thrown out onto point. It's going to connect with 2 of them. Oh, it's a huge charge by Verex. It's going to take out Not Spoons. Despite being in the
they have to get into overtime now, which is such a crucial condition for them at this moment.
JTech's going to pick off Shadow. That's a nice actual late sort of stagger kill there. Obviously, the respawn is a lot closer. Grad's going to come out onto Milkman. Immortality Field, though, going to keep him alive for long enough. It will be in overtime now with his cap. So it means they won't get any extra time in extra rounds unless they do hold for under a minute themselves. Looks like it's just going to be clean up, though. Huge boot potentially. Oh, wow. They just about stay on there. Bomb by TDT is going to clean up Muddy to the Tracer. It's just a matter of cleanup right now for Vindication NA. they could just sort of just stagger in more than anything really. Shatter's going to come in, he's going to connect with Baby Diva and Milkman. That's going to be the end of the team fight there, I think. And eventually Vindication and will get the 3rd point. Just what it looked like, it wasn't even going to get the 2nd. I do have to mention, it did get quite lucky. You'd have to say, luck was probably on their side, because there was a boop which was made at the end, and I don't know if you caught it, Massa. I hope you did. But there was the Lucio for Team Nebula. He came in and he got the boop onto Vegeta and the Lucio. And that's when I actually mentioned that they got booped off, because I actually thought he was able to get a double boot, but they literally just stay on the edge of the hole to the right-hand side of the point there. And maybe if that boot goes off, maybe they don't get that 3rd point there in overtime. So we mentioned...
If that boot goes off, then respawn advantage is, like, that's going completely hardcore in Team Nebula's favor. Like, absolutely. I
mean, we mentioned about, I think Swift mentioned it while you went to go and get a beer, about how, you know, it looks kind of going away for Vindication, some way, shape, or form, because Team Nebula are making some slight mistakes. And, you know, maybe luck is on their side, because on another day, that boop happened, you lose your Vegeta, your Lucio, you're down 2, respawn advantage, and you don't get the 3rd point. You know, at least they've capped the 3rd point now. They now just need to know that they need to hold very well and not give up any time, really.
The crazy thing is, like, as I was talking a bit earlier here about the draws, so we're not in a situation where a draw is the win condition per se. However, Vindication has not looked super good on goats, and hey, you know what? Let's just as we not be seeing a Sombra goats. I'm not too sure.
I have to mention about the Sombra. Someone mentioned in chat a while ago about neither teams actually ran the Sombra against the bunker compositions, which actually has been very interesting as well, because she's one of the known counters. But for now, back to this match, we will have Zenyatta goats versus Zenyatta goats. If you want to talk about the impact of Sombra as well, potentially could have turned these team fights very aggressive here, though, Clinch.
Depends on how well you can play on that, how well you can play without that diva, obviously. As we do see a really quick early frag, trading a Ryan for a Brig. I think you take the side if you're use the Brig any day of the week.
I mean, yeah, it's a huge charge coming. They actually sacrificed a tick, though. They're a little bit too late to touch the point there, Vindication.
No, so it's absolutely fine. You can afford to give up a point if it means you win the fight overall. The tick is not the win condition by any means. This is absolutely worth taking. As you see, not Spoons now actually swapping one of the Baptiste. So we're going to be seeing Baptiste come out. Normally only really see this on the defense here, not on the attack. So this could be really...
Yeah, that's very true. I think maybe... this might be a play, because we can see how attacking
Big Slam is absolutely huge. Transcendence is forced to come out now.
And Barrier's also committed. Both support ults are going to be coming out on defense. And Vindication, the first time that they've done that. Brad's also going to come out, but they're going to lose Virex. Zatek's going to pick on VSP as well. They're down 2. Rally and Trance going to be committed. Mother's going to pick on Map Warrior as he comes out. Bomb's going to come in by TDT.
Oh, I don't like that barrier, man. That's way... Not having faith in your Ryan to block that, or maybe thinking it was going to be stunned. I don't know, man, but finally the Brig's able to fall. And we actually, I did see Headrammer in the chat. So one of the things I actually talked about him when I was in Dallas was when you trank as a Zenyatta to try to save the diva, there's like a moment of animation, like where the diva you think is still technically alive, so you trank at the, you know, thinking you're going to save her. As a big slam comes out.
Connects with 4, I think that was.
That's a huge cleanup. That's absolutely massive. Great job pushing those spawns. But yeah, sorry, what I was going to say was that normally as Zenyatta, you do trank, try to keep that diva alive, but you think that she's still in mech, but the animation is just kind of like, it's a bit weird, and so you end up like kind of wasting trank sometimes. Fortunately, did not hurt Team Nebula here, but it maybe just could have, So.
I mean, you were mentioning about the ultimate bank. Look at the ult right now on defense of Vindication.
It's absolutely incredible, man. This grab can get point B in a heartbeat, man.
Especially with that shatter follow-up they had. They pushed all this way, but Clinch is going to get punished. And Mother's also going to lose. And I was about to mention...
Playing kind of like Bumper did yesterday, dude. This is not how you want to be playing Reinhardt when you have an ult advantage like that. Absolutely just devastating.
Yeah, he's been very aggressive. You can see that Vindication have definitely been punishing him, and they have been playing this goats v goats. Or even when they're just playing just him on Reinhardt, they've not played just Reinhardt against Reinhardt. He's definitely been punished for his aggression. And I think that's the main reason why Not Spoons potentially has gone to the Baptiste as well, to throw the immortality field down, just to keep him alive for longer. You can see he has the harmony orb on him. There's the application field though, in a decent position. Grad's going to be chucked out, not going to be eating that one, even though it's from long range. Beat's coming in by VSP. Bomb and JTech's going to go around the corner and pick up 3 supports. They had no shield there because they were split from their tanks. It was Grab. Huge play with the bomb to throw it round the corner there. Maybe the Brig could have shielded it, but JTech again coming in huge with these bombs. We saw the impact that's obviously it was Mav on Hanamura had. I believe it was like 4-man bomb it was in the end, but JTech did it on Route 66 and he carried it on again on to this
nice
map on hit throw.
Late kills too, and this is where you need to just take a deep breath. You are overextending so hard right now. You just basically gave a lot of unnecessary ult charge. You didn't contest points. You should have just backed out immediately. Even just dying, like jumping up the map there in that one spot would have been a better solution.
I mean, look at we're back to the ult banks. It's looking a bit more promising.
Big slam again, dude! Another slam
comes in
blocked.
again, and then he just blocks the shatter. The ult advantage is definitely, Not Spoon's immortality field gets taken out. Not Spoon gets pinned back. See, they're going to commit the barrier here. Vindication going to commit the barrier to get aggressive. After that pick onto Not Spoons, they're also going to take up 11. TDT is actually going to fall off the map. I don't know what happened there, but it will clean up, and eventually Vindication will stop this payload. But look how much time is on the bank. We have to admit, Vindication only had less than a minute to push around this little bend on their attack. Almost over 3 minutes now for Team Nebula, and they're just going to build up these ultimates, but it's going to be very big ultimate fights coming in now.
Immortality field is absolutely fantastic, but aside from that, like Baptiste ultimate doesn't really have very much benefit with Goats, especially when you already have your Zenyatta already sitting on Trance. There's not really very much benefit you're going to be getting from this.
And Vindication field comes out, VSP is just going to commit the barrier to keep them alive. Bit risky because the Graviton Surge is coming on and they have the bomb. That shot is blocked by Clinch. That one doesn't quite connect unlike the other ones that he's done so far today. Early bomb coming in by JTech. Grad's going to come in behind that. Bomb doesn't actually get anything. Both Grads actually online. Both on senses also out. It's about who gets the first pick here. Immortality shield goes down. Connects with 2 though. The shatter from Vax. No actual damage from the pin, but VSP is going to take out Mother. The Zen is now down. It's a huge advantage for the defense there. JTech also gets picked off as they look far forward on the Diva. Clinch goes for the charge onto Vax, but he's eventually just going to be picked off, and just like that, it's going to be another regroup for Team Nebula. A lot of ults committed from both teams there.
Yeah, I think the benefit there, man, if you want to just launch bomb out, you should launch bomb first and then go for the shatter. I think we saw like New York or Vancouver do that a lot in their match, where you can try to combo those. Didn't quite see that there. Just kind of saw the bomb come out and then the shatter or shatter came out very early on. Nice! Fire strike though.
Another shatter which is blocked by the shield, but he will fall anyway. Bomb's going to come up by TDT. Just going to be blocked. They use the barrier just to make sure lamp, and just like that, Team Nebula have massive ult
That's a nice late kill. It's going to prevent them from really being able to engage. We got to push the spawn. Graviton comes out.
In.
Diva
touches at the last second, but then gets
Zan
beat
able
back
to
on.
contest. Ryan able to contest. Transcendence going to be able to keep everybody up.
The second side is going to go onto the Baptiste himself. Shatter connects, but there's a Trance follower who's coming by Mother. Beat go coming by VSP though to keep him alive for longer. There is a bomb. By JTech to get 3!
Again! And the
4 in fact.
Bro,
And we
this
mentioned
guy's
about
bombs! This guy is hitting every single bomb! This guy's like he's bowling 300 right now with strike, 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 boom, 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 knocking them all down one after the other. This guy is on an absolute tear. He is single-handedly destroying this team.
And you mentioned before the start of that map of the draw possibility, and because there was 1 minute 19 left on the clock, it now means Vindication and they don't get another attack, which means all they can play for is a draw if they hold the first tick, but that doesn't mean that they win at the series. We'll still go to Legion Tower as the 5th map, and we'll go from there, but advantage is definitely for Team Nebula. We mentioned about Not Spoon switch to the Baptiste. We see how quickly that application field can be charged, and we do have to remember it does a lot more damage, but it also, like, I think it's like, it doubles the healing as well.
It doubles the so it only does double for projectiles and like I guess hit scan as well, yeah, but not like not like a mercy beam or any sort of like beam. Doesn't do any double for there. And the problem is that like for so many heroes in Goats that are like, melee based. Like you have like, your Brig and your Ryan, who most of their kit is melee based, so I don't really get the same kind of benefit from that like, a hit scan or bunker comp does.
Well, yeah, because I've seen that's been switched from the Brig to go to the Baptiste. We saw the Firestrike kill come in by Clinch, which came out clutch, really, thanks to the amplification field. They can't give a particular Vindication like they did last time. They have to fight on the point now. They've gone for their own Baptiste as well to try and give themselves an advantage, but the Immortality field gets burned down instantly for the Steady Rise. Both shields are down, and not Clinch is going to die to Viex again, goes a little bit too aggressive. Both Immortality fields got burned. First fight over, but they'll definitely probably get 2 if they go quickly here, Team Nebula, but they might just want to commit to one long one.
It might be. I bet you go for 1, man. I think if you go for 2, one of them is going to be extremely messy, and you just don't want that.
30 seconds on the clock. Shatter's going to be online third. You'd have to say for Verex here. Immortality field protects his eyes, but he gets really low. Both fields are now down. Immortality fields also get back up. Both these teams in each other right now with what they were doing. 10 seconds left. They're going to use the beat to get aggressive here, but there is grabs alive from both teams. Shatter comes in. Both of them kick. Manboy's grab gets eaten by J-Tag. That's a huge turn. Shadow's going to have to grab into this trap, but they're currently off the point. Syx is going to fall. The one-hop's down. J-Tag's going to double with bomb.
Again, this guy is so insane.
Got to be a huge bomb by TDT, but he goes off the point. He actually gets 2. I don't know if it's going to be enough though to sort spawn advantage.
Respawn advantage. Yep.
More for Team Nebula. It's only him left on the baby DV. He can't stay on point, and just like that, the series is equalled, and it means we'll go to Legion Tower to decide the winner of this grand finals. And just like that, it turns around on King Joe.
Dude, this guy has POTG, but Jesus Christ, man. I don't know if I can say that on air or whatever. I'm not really swearing, but dude, the amount of bombs. I want to see this final stat. Like, look at this. Okay, you know what? He's deserving of that one. I'll give him that one 100% because it was that charge.
But it was 15 self-destruct kills, but 8 self-destructs.
My God, dude.
So he got 15 kills with Diva bombs from 8 bombs which he thrown out. So maybe a few of them went a bit wayward, but when he got them big, he definitely timed them big. One of them there being the play of the game, for example. With the 4-man, the 3-man on the defense as well. Sorry, on the attack to actually take the point of King Joe. And I mean, just like that, the series turns on its head. And, it's Li Jiang next, it's Control. Team Nebula will probably have Ilios, though, in the back of their mind. No, they won't one map up, and then they Vindication bounced back and won the next 2. Farah, again, could probably come out, and probably 2 out of 3 of these maps, you'd have to say. Farah's popular one more than anything, but she could also be running on the inside one if you want to. So maybe we'll see a bit more of the damage, or maybe we'll see the goats. I mean, Massa, what do you expect now? We saw the goats v goats match up there. Do you expect us to go back to DPS, or do you think at this point in the grand finals, final map, you stick to goats because it's meta?
You see goats definitely on Control Center. I think more than anything else. Maybe you could bring up the May. That's always possible. Maybe even bring up the Baptiste coach. That seems to be working for you. But I think Control Center, you definitely see goats. On Garden, probably Farah. I wouldn't be shocked at all. And as for Night Market, it's a bit of a tricky one. You can run Vafara there, but I think it's generally, again, favored 2 goats. But hey, with how these... I mean, it's not like King's Row, where like the whole map is very goats favored. Here, it's more... Like you can run other stuff and you can still be effective, but it comes down to like how confident and how good your team is at running that particular composition.
I think JTech's been taking lessons from Hoko with those bombs. He's people in chat are saying he's turned to regard with those self-destructs, and he really has been carrying him. Remember, really with the timing of the bombs as well. We saw obviously in the play of the game from the last map with the charge as well to get the 4-man. So good communication, you'd have to say, coming in. Yeah. Li Jiang Tower, and Swift's just showing it now on stream. $500 is on the line right now as we go into this final map. I mean, how do you feel right now? I mean, this is as close as it possibly can be. Remember, this is a map 5. This is literally the tiebreaker. After this, there's no more maps. This is it to win $500. I mean, I can't imagine what the players are feeling. Especially, you'd have to say Team Nebula after that performance at King's Road, will probably have momentum, really, wouldn't they? After they were quite dominant, you'd have to say there, especially on the second point of Street there as well, with the shatters coming in huge. I mean, do you agree, Messa, or?
I agree. I think the confidence is definitely right now in Nebula's favor. But if you're a Vindication, man, like, you won King of the Hill last time you played this game type, so maybe you're feeling kind of confident too. But here we are now, dude. On to Lijiang Control Center. Very, very Goats favored. Even, like, man, even when Goats wasn't, like, the super meta, you would still see a lot of, like, you know, Varine Zarya here anyway, so... Oh, man, this is gonna be hype, bro. I'm in for it. I'm excited.
This is as close as it possibly can be. And it's weird how it's on Lijiang Tower as well. Obviously, it was the first map of the Grand Finals recently that was played in Overwatch League. This is, as I said, $500 on the line. And we go to Control. Obviously, there's no draws. So this is straightforward. It wouldn't surprise me. I expect Goats, especially on this first map here. Goats against Goats, a massive brawl. It's who makes the slight mistakes going to be punished. I mean, Vindication, there's no denying it, Clinch is a lot more aggressive Reinhardt than Verex is, and he's been punished for it before. So maybe Vindication will be looking at those tiny little things which they can iron out from King's Road to take into King of the Hill.
And yeah, we're gonna be sticking with this Baptiste Goats, man. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, I guess. So yeah, I'm gonna be sticking with that right now. I
mean, yeah, it's true, you know.
And the thing is, too, man, this is like you could. It's like you could run the Brig, you could run like a Moira, but I just think that the Immortality field is so strong. It can clutch out so many fights. It can enable your Reinhardt to play aggressively after seeing.
We could have also seen the Mei potentially coming out on this. It obviously used to be very popular on this point. We saw Mei earlier on Hanamura, for example, coming out by Vindication, weirdly enough. But point control advantage is definitely on the side of Team Nebula, but they are going to match now. Both teams. But early Shatter coming in by Clinch again, going to connect with two. No follow-up this time. Viex is going to lose to fall to Milkman though. The beat from VSP, they're a little bit too late to keep him alive. Sex's Eye is going to pop Rally Trance, is going to come out in return by a Mother. Interesting decision here, but I think they just want to take first point control. Not Spoons is also going to connect to the application field, and TDT is going to fall on the Zarya now. We did see him, weirdly enough, on King's Road. He was on the Diva, and Mav Warrior was on the Zarya, but we saw them on Hanamura, that Mav Warrior was on Diva and TDT was on the Zarya. So they switched roles for King's Road. It hasn't worked, so now they've switched back. Both Graviton Surges will probably be online for this next team fight, but early percentage definitely going to Team Nebula first. They took the percentage, so they took the point, the point advantage so early there that it was going to be hard for Vindication.
And Muda had to use that Transcendence of that last fight early on too, so this next grab could come up absolutely big. It's going to have to force up a sound barrier.
Oh, Shatter comes in! Dude, a lot of ults being committed though. They do commit 3 ults there. All 3 of the tank ults committed.
This stall, dude, is could be absolutely big.
Kaseko's Eye is now going to make switch over the Baptiste itself from the Brigitte, so we're going to be directly mirroring now.
That's such a big stall,
VSP
dude.
also gets picked off as they go a little bit too aggressive. 2 late kills coming in now for Team Nebula. They're definitely looking a lot better. They're definitely widening that momentum, you'd have to say, but they do still have the grab here, TDT. But the problem is, there's 3 defensive ults. Well, 2 because Spoons is not really a defensive ult, but in comparison to Rally.
But hey, you know, he's going to have the defensive Immortality field available, so it may as well be. That's a huge opening again! He's dying so early on in so many of these key important fights. It's really hurting right now.
They're going to get out right now. They can't fight this. They're taking a lot of poke damage. Lapper's just in the background. Just gets a punch kill and Verex as he's wall riding past. That's a goodbye present right there, really, isn't it? See you later, but I'm taking you out with me.
He slams down the bomb! He slams down the bomb as it came in, dude!
They've got a touch point right now, Vindication. I don't know if anyone can make it. It's a huge shot by Verex. Someone does make it round the back. I think it's the Diva. There's no follow-up though from the shatter, but Clinch will lose his life. It's now or never right now. There is the grab coming out by Milkman before he dies. JTech's going to throw the bomb in, but that's not actually going to get anyone this time. That's one of the only starting shots that doesn't end in a 3 or 4k. And eventually Vindication look like they will take the point control. It's very close though. And it's just right at the end, despite the huge shatter from Clinch, just stops Diva Bomb combo.
Mickman and the bomb being used, and the grab and the bomb at the very end there, they would love to have those right now just retake. I mean, you want the momentum, man. You want this to be a 100-0. You want this to like not be very close at all. Instead, we could be looking for a pretty drown-out fight. This could be going to a it's an alt economy-based fight going on now.
Amplification field coming out. For not spoons, not much follow up. They do take out the Shatter again.
Big slam, but the Transcendence can be blocking all that damage.
Transcendence has been used, but TDT has another Graviton Surge.
Sound barrier gets used, and then in comes the grab. So I don't know about this, man. I don't know about that.
The shatter gets the pin gets cancelled, but VSP's still going to take out Mudda. Bomb's going to go out by Mavwire, who's just going to get the Immortality field, and Not Spoons is also going to fall with TDT. Cleaning up on this area. We have to mention Vex goes to the pin there. Onto Clint, but gets duped away by Lap on the Lucio.
That's a nice late D-Mech as well onto Jag, and forcing him to jump off the map to reset.
And we haven't mentioned Shadow Dragon, but we saw him on Nilios. He was getting a lot of picks on the Zenyatta. He hasn't done as much this time. In fact, he's been dying a lot more this map than he was previously. But Vantage, again, look at TDT's ult charge right now. It's matching Milkman. In fact, it's overlapping him now after just using the Graviton Surge in the last fight. And the percentages as well. And the amplification field from Not Spoons. We have seen Graviton Surge eaten on King's Row, which is what I've mentioned. So let's see what Diva comes in clutch. Clutchy Shatter gets blocked. Great reaction by Vex. He has one of his own. There's a bomb from Draytech. Immortality field's not going to be enough. It's going to take out TNT. He was so close to grab, and Vex gets charged by Clinch. That's two huge picks. And Lap's going to get a double boot on the Lucio, I think that was, or at least it was a kill with a double kill with a boop. I don't think it was off the map. I think it was just actually just killing someone on point. And just like that, that bomb again by JTech coming in huge. The shot gets denied by Verex as it gets pinned, and again, it's the Diva bombs from JTech. He chucks it in there. The Immortality field's there by Deceptive Guys, but TDT steps out of it. He gets killed by the bomb when he's 94% to grab. Sorry, the trance also came out, but it wasn't enough to keep him alive, and Verex falls. And just like that, one thing, one little mistake, or one just little bad luck, and the first map is taken by Team Nebula. But remember, we can't get too carried away. They took the first map of Ilios, and Vindication bounced back to take the next two. Massa, what are your thoughts? This is actually a mad series, really, isn't it?
This is going to go right down to the wire, man. That last attack just managed to get it done, and both teams, man, sticking to this Baptiste Goats variant. Both teams finally saying, hey, you know what? I hate Brig. Delete Brig. Let's just play Baptistio, and that's what we're doing right now.
There's a bit of a split, though. This is not good for Vindication, because the second Rise actually went to the bridge. He didn't go to the right room right now. He's able to catch up in time. Thankfully, they weren't punished, but definitely could have been by Team Nebula. A bit of lack of communication potentially coming in now for Vindication in this crucial time. And remember, this is the grand finals of Money on the Line, so maybe they've got a bit of nerves potentially.
Already
application field for the second Rise. Yep. Shadow Dragons is going to pick up Mudda with the help of that field. He's also going to take Spoons.
He gets two!
Gets to TDT, is going to lose his life. Fakes is also going to be traded. Picked, you'd have to say, going in the advantage of Team Nebula. Trant's going to be committed by Shadow Dragon.
Already with the grab as well. Who is this guy? Sinatra? Absolutely nutty how we've had so many ultimates in one fight.
Going back and forth. JTech takes out Shadow Dragon as Baby Diva as he bombs through the mech. Shatter comes in by VX, connects with JTech. Bombs also, beats going to come out from both. Lucio, Shatter
everything is just coming out! This is so early on, Not Spoons finds two with Baptistio. Great fire with that from us.
Another trance comes in by Mudda. Again, this is just like the first point of Li Jiang. Very long first team fight, but it looks like, just like on Li Jiang, that first quick toss going to go to Team Nebula again. And
how did we see that many ults? It was insane,
I have no idea. That's how close this series is. So many ults, people aren't dying. It's little things that are helping the teams win here. You mentioned about the amplification field, about how it's not really suited for goats, really, in comparison to Bunker, but also the Reinhardt cut 5-strike through, and the Zenyatta, remember, Zenyatta has no damage fall off anyway. You give him extra damage, he's definitely going to get a lot more done. And we saw a double pick coming in by Shadow, but the issue was they lost the Zarya and the Reinhardt, which meant they lost that first team
This
fight.
next grab has to be absolutely huge. Gonna use it.
Grab gets eaten! JTech comes in huge again on that Diva. Amplification field goes out, but it's kind of useless. Bomb goes around. by Math Warrior, gets 2, Application Field being one of them, sorry, the Immortality Field being one of them. JTech's Bomb, not as lucky, gets a D-Mech, and as far as Immortality Field we've got, advantage is definitely now for Vindication EU, NA, and I think they'll definitely take advantage. They will take this point just 50% gained for Team Nebula. A lot of ults committed by both teams. Both Shatters will be online though for the next team fight.
Yeah, Shadow does have the Transcendence available. Yeah, as you said, both Shatters as well. VSP though, pretty close to that sound barrier, so it's not... So you see a nice big slam, but the Immortality Field can be able to keeping everybody alive. And Ryan, you get discorded, you got to be able to get out of there, man. You cannot die, and that's exactly what happened.
Matt Warriors just got back in mech. He was de-meched for that entire fight. He's too late to be able to eat that 5-star, which takes out 5x. Shatter comes in, doesn't actually connect, but Beat and
layering support ultimates.
Both teams layer their support ults in. Both of them want to stay in this fight. The advantage though is definitely Team Nebula because they have a Reinhardt up. Amplification Field goes out, both grabs also come out, a lot of ults being committed. Mudder's got to get picked on VSP, the Lucio's now down. Again, the ball from that Warren's huge! Get to 3k, we saw it on Ilios, sorry, not Hanamori it was with the 4k. He turns the fight around, both Divas coming in clutch so far in this entire series of Diva bombs. And turn it around, they're now going to take percentage lead in this fight.
They are coming up so clutch, and the thing is, I cannot stress enough, there is so much to deny these bombs. You have the Sound Barrier, you have the Transcendence, you have the Zarya Bubbles, you have the Rhine Shield, you have the Immortality Field to keep connecting on this often, man, with these bombs. It's nothing short of just a miracle. It's fantastic to watch.
No real ults available here. Diva Bomb from J-Tech and not Spoons probably gets the Baptiste ult here. They're taking the lead here right now, Vindication. Obviously, they need this map to stay in this series and have a chance to win this grand finals. Looks like it's going to be really slow fight here, potentially last fight this could be. Tooch gets booped in, he's going to get destroyed instantly, he goes too aggressive. Now gets a double kill there, but it's a huge shatter. Is there any more follow-up? VSP is going to get a pick. J-Tech's going to take off Vax, going to bomb for free. Picks off TDT, he had bounce on Surge. This is last fight right now.
You're very happy with that, I think. Yes, I think you're very happy with that you did not use that grab, because you're going to have grab, bomb, transcendence, and barrier for next fight. You're in a fantastic position right now if you are Vindication.
So we have to mention Mav Warrior. There was the one where we saw Vex fall on the Reinhardt. Mav Warrior was actually demeched that entire time, wasn't able to eat the Fire Strike, but boy did he make up for it in that team fight when they were brought out without a Reinhardt with that 3-man bottom. He was just see if he could do it again. They have
this
the
next fight is so crucial, man. This is like Vancouver versus San Fran.
Oh, it's a huge boot!
The big boot, dude! They gotta back out immediately. They gotta just... Diva has to get off the map immediately. She cannot keep...
They get staggered out by J-Tech, gets a little bit more ult charge. Shatter was committed by Vax, so they get an ultimate out for that. But Clinch also committed his as well in that team fight before he died.
I think they're going to be forced to go bridge, man. You do not want to go bridge here. This is going to put you in a very difficult position. You can be booped off.
VSP goes round, Grab comes round the corner from both teams. VSP uses the sound barrier as he touches point to trigger the overtime. This is it, $500 on the line right now for Vindication. They get the pick on Not Spoons, but they lose their Reinhardt to Mudder. Transcendence going to come in by Shadow to keep him alive. Mav Warrior picks up Mudder before he can use it. Barrier's going to come in by a lamp. This is the last fight right now on this team fight. J-Tech also gets demeted. Clinch is also going to fall to Setting Eyes. Killfeed's definitely an advantage for Vindication right now. Double pick by VSP! Onto the Baby Diva and Lucio, and I think that might be... And they take the fight, and we're going to go to the third map of Legion Tower. This is as far as the series could possibly go. $500 on the line for the winner.
Not to be like, you know, a Debbie Downer or anything like that, but we could have seen a map 6 of King's Row had of Drew, and then Nebula won this one.
Yeah, I know, but traditionally it's a best of 5 traditionally.
Yes.
We have 5 maps to 6 there in case there is a draw. There's been no draw, so this is as far as the series could have gone. This is absolutely insane. This is Shock versus Titan Stage 1 final when it went to the 7th map.
And you know why I like this too, man? It's because and in PS4 scene, we have seen a lot of 3-0s and 3-1s. We are finally, you know, you and I casting a game coming down to the wire right here. It's just glad it's the finals, definitely.
I mean, yeah, so we've seen a lot of 3-0s and 3-1s and not so much.
Early pick off, extremely
TDT
early pick off.
Takes out Mudder.
You cannot fight this one. You gotta back out right now. You cannot fight this. You should not be fighting this.
They use the Immortality Field to try and stay alive, but they're definitely going to give up the first point control here. They're probably going to try and test. with Lap on the Lucio. One and then tries to get back. Just a random right click by TDT there. Just takes him out. Clinch is going to get picked off again. Too aggressive. Just get zoned out by Vindication. They're going to carry on that momentum from the last fight there.
And look at the all charge right now. It's Shadow and Muda, bro. We're looking at 85 to 30%. This is an insane alt differential of such a key ultimate like Transcendence in these Goats v Goats compositions.
And unlike the first two maps of Legion, which we had, which were really long first team fights with a lot of ultimates, that one was over in a blink of an eye. Immortality Field's burnt from both teams now. Barrier going to come in early here by Lab. They're going to use the amplification field on both sides. 5x is really low. They commit the barrier to keep him alive. Early grab comes in by TDT. There's no Transcendence there because Mother got picked off so early. Clinch gets charged out by the Reinhardt. It's absolutely huge play. Bomb's going to be coming in by JTEX. Just going to get the Immortality Field. The own bombs going to go in off screen by Mavwire. Again, Immortality Field's just going to fall. You saw there the advantage which they had from Mother getting picked off early. There was no Transcendence for the grab of TDT. He will lose his life to Milkman as he goes a little bit too aggressive. So the Zarya is down. A lot of damage is done. There is the Shatter and the grab.
They are playing triggered right now. Why are you investing ultimates into this?
They have the grab. The Shatter gets blocked. There is the Transcendence by Shadow Dragon. And that's another one now. He's got two in a time it's taken Madamada to get one after that first early pick. Shadow Dragon's going to kick off Madamada again. He's back to his old self on Ilios when he was just getting killed in every single team fight. Two more people fought, and Vindication are looking very solid.
Huge!
By Verex onto Not Spoons. And look at this percentage right now. And all of this does lead back.
Tilted. There's nothing they can do about this, man. They're going to have to fight into sound barrier right now. They're going to have to get somebody on point. They're going to have to just like... Dude, what are they going to do?
This all leads back to the first team fight with Moda getting picked off. He didn't have the grab. He didn't have the Transcendence to keep him alive during the grab. It paid the price, and that's Shadow Dragon has almost overlapped him. Shadow Dragon is going to be his third Transcendence in comparison to second, but Metaman is going to get picked up.
Finally, Retribution arc is the start now.
Bomb goes in, doesn't get anyone, just in field.
Sound barrier slam, able to connect into Zarya. She gets discorded.
He gets
counter slam. Counter slam keeps Zarya up.
Bomb from JTEX gonna have to be huge to keep in his. Lamb gets a boot onto TDT, and Vapes also falls. But right now, if you are Vindication, you'll probably take this, but as much time off the clock and as much ultimate as you possibly can. Becoming the ultimate burnt there from Team Nebula to retake it. They keep the Graviton Surge, and Shadow Dragon may be wanting that trance back, which he did use. That was his third trance. We have to remember, Middle Buddha's only had two, so he's certainly been getting them a lot quicker. Yeah, there will be an interview after the game, and I believe it, if I remember right, people in chat can actually vote who we interview. If I do remember right, so
Jay.
Shatter goes in. Sorry, not Shatter, that's a Graviton Surge. I'm getting mixed up now, I'm getting too excited. Immortality Field's going to go out there, it's going to keep him alive. TDT has his own. No, it's thrown out, not eaten by JTech. Is the follow-up going to be better here? Amplification Field's going to go in. Shatter's blocked.
Gets blocked.
No follow-up damage from either one. VSP is going to commit sound
barrier really early on.
Clinch gets picked off again. Shadow Dragon committing clutch on this Zenyatta. Again, it's getting close. Vex going to pick up Lap, and just like that, two people are down for Team Nebula. Point control's definitely gone back to Vindication. Trance is going to come in by Mother. It's his third trance, obviously. Bomb coming by Mad Warrior. That's going to be in the Immortality Field. That's not going to get anything. Shadow's going to fall, though, with Transcendence to Milkman. That could be a huge pick. But three more picks come the side of Vindication. Zarya being one of them. There's only Clinch left on the Reinhardt here. A lamp on this on this Lucio to touch at the last second. You can see him hiding behind point right now. They don't know he's there. He's going to touch, going to go for a boop onto Lucio. Doesn't get it on VSP. He's the only one here to stall. He's going to fall to Mad Warrior. Someone needs to make it back now.
From the top, able to touch.
Jay, watch his bomb. Has a shatter. Immortality Field goes out. Shadow gets picked on Mudder, who's switched over to the Zarya. Grab's going to come in by Milk, but the follow-up needs to be here. Immortality Field goes down. There's no follow-up. Shadow comes in by Clutch, going to get killed onto Sex's Eyes with the Shadow itself. JTech's going to get demet. Clutch is also going to fall to TDT. Milkman's down as well. There's a bomb just to clear the back by Mad Warrior. And that's going to be it! And just like that, Vindication NA will win the grand finals, and again for the second time in the King of the Hill map, come from being a map down to win. Despite JTech's best efforts, it'll be Vindication that will take the win.
It all came down to that first pick. It all came down to that. Just snowballed from there. I just think that Nebula was looking tilted after that, and Vindication, man, they just brought their game. They came absolutely clutch, and look at that, man. Not Spoons putting up 21,000 healing on v Baptiste. That is an insane amount. This match, just for everybody at home, lasted under 16 and a half minutes. This guy had 21k healing. 21k.
I mean, but I have to mention it. We see in the play of the game there what actually happened on the first point, and I mentioned about the first point how unlucky they got Vindication, because you see TDT steps outside the immortality field at the last second and gets killed when he had the Graviton Surge, and they had the Transcendence as well to potentially keep him alive. So Vindication potentially could have even won the first map there of Legion. They just had a bit of bad luck, but in the end they will take the series. You can't really call it a reverse sweep, but obviously, you know, they lost the first map of Route 66, and then they took a 2-1 lead. You know, they lost King's Row. We kind of have to be kind of honest and nicest way possible. Kind of got steamrolled really on King's Row, especially on a street phase. Extremely steamrolled, but they were able to stall it out long enough in the end. And maybe, you know, they lose the first point. Maybe the minds go slightly at that point. You mentioned about Nebula being a little bit tilted after losing the second point there, but that was absolutely insane series to cast. I think that's the most fun I've ever had casting game, and maybe even watching the game as well, other than the grand finals between the Shocker Titans that went to map 7. Massa, how do we even begin to reflect on this?
What a series, man. What a phenomenal series. Just, you know, back and forth. You know, you have the underdogs win too. You know, as I said, Nebula tied for first place overall at the end of the regular group stage. Vindication, I think they were in 4th, man. So they come in here having lost 2 games in the regular season, and it goes the distance, and they go the distance. And I think it was really their ability to utilize the Baptiste, to match that Baptiste Goats variant so well, and you know, it's just crazy, man. You know, both teams opting to go to that Baptiste, ditching the Brig, ditching their bread and butter, so to speak, of the Goats composition. Absolutely phenomenal stuff.
I mean, someone, Headrammer, has actually just mentioned himself in chat. What a great game to start off this week of finals. You couldn't have wished for a better start to the finals. If the grand finals are like that for the entire week, we're going to have some cracking Overwatch to cast and watch and enjoy. I believe that Smith's probably trying to arrange an interview now with one of the winners of Vindication, so we can get exactly how they're feeling after they've just won $500. So I think they're going to be pretty happy.
Hey, it's enough to buy an Xbox and try to compete next season in the Xbox League. So we'll see.
As well as the PlayStation League, you know, competing both, why not? Keep the momentum going. No, I don't think they'll potentially do that.
And then when they win the Xbox One, that's when they buy a PC and they go to, like, you know, Path to Pro. See? Big brain.
Path to Pro, Open Division next, Contenders, and all the way to Overwatch League for these players. I mean, Swift mentioned they did feel confident, because obviously TDT put in his little profile thing that they were soon to be champions of CGL TF4, you know, and it came true in the end, so that was an insane series. I am almost speechless right now. I hope everyone in chat enjoyed that. I know we've got quite a few viewers here for the grand finals, and as I said, all I can hope for now is the rest of the games for this week live up to the hype, and you know, they've got to live up a lot. You know, if the next grand finals has a lot to live up to. I mean, maybe it could be like Overwatch League. You know, Overwatch League Season 1, you know, Stage 1 finals, 7-map series, and Stage 2 wasn't quite as exciting. Still was exciting, but not quite as exciting as Stage 1, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with that completely. Yeah, what a thrilling series to cast, man. I have casted a few games I've got down to the wire before, but this one was absolutely phenomenal. Really, really great stuff. I'm very happy to have casted it. And yeah, I mean, I am also casting the GM PS4 game on Wednesday, so that's going to be a lot of fun too. Really looking forward to seeing what those teams can do, and hell, you know, maybe we'll start seeing some Baptiste Scouts there as well. I guarantee that some of those teams are watching this very closely and seeing, you know, what has worked, what has not, and what do they have, you know, in the time remaining before their series to maybe mimic, you know, some of the successes we've seen from Nebula and Vindication here today.
I mean, Swift, I don't know if you can actually just chime in. Will we actually have an interview or not? I don't know if you're trying to arrange one. You have to mention, we've got the schedule here. You mentioned tomorrow we have 2 finals, both NA games as well, Xbox One and PlayStation 4. So we have Culture Esports versus No Boy, which I believe you just mentioned yourself, Massive, which you'll be covering and we also have N7 versus the Throne Knights. I believe that's one word for that team. So again, there's 2 more grand finals tomorrow, and they've got to live up to the hype. We have 2 more on Wednesday as well. This entire week is just packed full of quality Overwatch. It's all grand finals at this point. This is the best of the best. This is everything on the line that you possibly have. And you can see, just because you're cast as the underdog doesn't mean you're going to win. I have to mention this, Nasa. Me and you, we've casted Culture Esports a few times. They're the sort of ultimate underdog sort of story. They finished 8th in the playoffs. They were the lowest seed in the playoffs. They had to fight through the quarterfinals and the semi-finals, where they beat the only team which was unbeaten in that tier as well. And now they're in the finals. You talk about underdogs winning. I mean, Culture Esports for tomorrow definitely will.
I would love to cast that one, but I already have my Detective Pikachu ticket, so I have to go see that movie, unfortunately. But have fun with that one, man. I'll definitely be watching the VOD for that. So good luck.
That was that was absolutely insane. I don't know, Swift, what the process who we are interviewing.
Yep, we're going to grab a couple of players from Vindication NA. I'm talking to the captain right now, so stick around, chat. I'm going to put us on mute real quick while we grab some of the players from Team Vindication. We'll get them on stream and get their thoughts. Stick around, everyone. We'll be right back with you. All right, thank you so much, everybody, for sitting tight. I do have Mav Warrior and TDT from Team Vindication NA with us here. I think TDT had a couple of words before we kind of get into the quick interview. So TDT, take it away, brother.
Yeah, for sure. I wanted to say thank you, everyone, for watching the game. Thank you, everyone, for supporting us. Whoever supported us, really appreciate it. Also want to say thank you to our players. Everyone played amazing today, and I'm so proud of all of them, and I'm happy that we came out on top.
Yeah, man. Well, hard fought. I mean, incredibly close series. I think Headrammer said it best in chat that, for the kickoff game for the entire championship week here at the CGL multi-tier tournament, I don't know if we could have asked for a better one. Mazza was doing some of the analysis throughout the game, so I'm gonna hand it over to him. I think he had a couple of questions for you guys, how you prepped, but take it away.
I want to know your thoughts on the Baptiste Goats variant, because we saw like Nebula running that and it was like getting a lot of good success for them. So when you guys decided to mirror, is there any like reason where you guys decided, hey, you know what, like let's just ditch a Brig completely and just like mirror match them here?
You wanna go, Mav?
Sure. I mean, to be honest with you, the problem that we were struggling with is getting in and staying in. And the thing with goats is that if you end up running the Baptiste invincibility field, like the immortality field, like if you put it behind the wall, you can stay up during the actual front event. So it goes down to not only who uses the Zarya bubbles better, but who uses the Baptiste abilities also better than the enemy. So that was more chance to outplay the enemy team than just, oh, I bubbled first, but he DM'd and now we lose.
Right. So like I saw like Nebula was like running that first, and then so basically they were running that all throughout King's Row, right? And then you guys basically decided on, then on Li Jiang. I don't think you guys went it at first. You guys kind of got a bit rolled, I think. And then you guys decided to just opt to go Baptiste, and then everything just came together for you.
Yeah, I think, to be honest, really honest, we had kind of a lack of communication for what dyslexic, like what he should play. So he kind of just went Brig, and I feel like all of us, we weren't really paying attention, right? Like to what he's playing. We're kind of focusing on the game directly and just trying to get in and play, like, create strats. So once we saw him on Brig, like once everyone figured out he was on Brig, we're like, just get off, go Baptiste, because we already know we're not going to win it with Brig. Brig doesn't do enough. Doesn't do more than Baptiste.
I mean,
right.
the only thing about everything is that, TDT, correct me if I'm wrong, but we had a different shot color like what, every other map? Like sometimes every other round? Like I think I was shot calling once, and then Varix was, and you were, and then we had VSP, but I think Shadow was our shot caller most of the time, because most of the stuff I kind of agreed with them. I mean, you guys kind of just talked over him. That's why I talked for him half the time. We worked 98% of the time. We actually listened to Shadow.
Yeah.
Can I also ask about Route 66? You guys were having a bit of trouble against the Orisa with the 2 hit scan, and so that I think the option for you guys there would have been to go goats. Is there any reason why you guys didn't go goats on Route 66?
I feel like it was kind of the first map, so we're still kind of getting warmed up and kind of getting back into the team groove. And we just we were talking about going Ryan Zarya and doing that kind of thing, but
it was also because the tanks were purely against it. Like me and Varix talked it out afterwards that we should have stayed on dive, but used our heads a little bit more. And we were thinking that like, well, how could we approach that properly? And we were thinking like, we should have went on top of the saloon and got the whole team up there somehow by going far left, even. And then we could have just healed up there, got our cooldowns back, and then dropped on safely. Probably got a pick really quickly and then got back out. Especially if Nebula didn't rotate. But even if it did, we still would got the ground that we needed and the high ground that we would need to actually drop upon them.
Fair enough. And how would you guys explain like the Hanamura? I think was a really important map. Winning that one, obviously, kind of setting the tone. Also, I want to talk about the Bastion on Wells. I think that was actually like a really good.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, we're thinking of, alright, let's go bunker and for the well. And they were like, oh, go Bastion, and I'm kind of like, I don't know, man, like Bastion on this map, I'm not sure. And then I was just like, you know what, screw it, let me just go Bastion. So I hop on the Bastion, and next thing you know, it's like we're like a marching band. Everyone's just like left, right. And
yeah, our comms on even on our streams were kind of insane, to be honest with you, because like I think literally like 1 second we're like, oh, let's go this way, and we're like, go back far right, no, to rotate this way, go that way. Oh, don't use that there, use this here, go that way. No, don't go that way. VSP, stop throwing. Sorry.
Pretty much. Yeah, that's pretty much how our comms work. It was something that I guess we just wanted to try. We thought it would go well, and most of Route 66, we were kind of like, we don't want to do anything too cheesy because, like, I don't know, I prefer playing skilled comps over, like, just cheesy comps, but after we saw what they were running, we're just like, you know what, we have to do cheese back. Like, we don't have an option.
Okay, one last question for you guys. Li Jiang, I think it was Garden, man. The amount of ults in that first fight, absolutely insane. It must have been like every single person.
Can we not talk about that Pacific Point? That triggered me so hard.
Oh man.
Yeah, it was a pretty.
Like I just killed 3 people. How do they have ults? That's still 6. Hello?
Yeah, it was a lot of fighting going on, man. That's how GOATS is. Everyone just gets ults like really fast, but.
Oh, that many though, I was bonkers, dude. Like just every single ult in the kitchen sink just getting thrown out, but you know, miraculously. I mean, it was down to the wire, man. I mean, props to you guys to keeping it cool. I mean, you guys come in as the underdogs. I think you guys were what 6-2 regular season.
Yeah.
And you know, take out Nebula, who were tied for first place. That's, you know, a great way to begin the playoffs. Obviously, I don't know if Optimus had any questions for you or Swift.
Not really. I was just about to say, you know, how was it feeling? Because you went to that first map of Lijiang, and was it in your mind that you came back on Ilios from being a map down as well? Because you know you did it the hard way really to win the series. You know, you went down on Route 66 obviously, and then you went down on Ilios and you fight back, and then you fight back again on Hanoi. So you took the hard way. So was it in the back of your mind when you lost that map of Lijiang that it was still winnable, so it didn't affect you that much?
I think our whole team, to be honest, is just like completely positive. Like we're not the team that just like as soon as we take one loss, everyone's like, I give up, I'm done. Like I don't want to play this game anymore. Everyone's like, let's go, we got this map, let's keep going, let's just do what we do, and let's just get this win. I mean, everyone wanted to win. Today was definitely the day that everyone just felt like taking a W.
I mean, for me personally, I come from I play competitively in multiple different games, so when it comes to like that type of situation, I'm just like, this is not a scrim, this is not a comp game, this is not time for a tilt, this is not a time for getting feels involved in this. We had to win the next map, and that's how it is.
Weirdly enough, I actually said that. I weirdly said that in my cast. I think Swift and Master can actually back me up. I did say this is not just your casual 6v6 comp match. This is grand finals. This is a lot on the line. It's like, so how do you keeping the composure in that sort of situation at the end?
I think Nebula was looking very tilted as well. I gotta say, like just from like observing it, that going into like the last fight or like last 2 fights of Li Jiang, they were looking completely tilted.
Yeah, I mean, we just try and keep our cool. I mean, we just instead of focusing on, you know, whatever you did this bad or you did this horribly, the first thing we just do is say clear comms. Everyone just focus up on comms, and I guess everyone just starts getting back into their groove. Like, comms literally saves everything. If we talk about it too much, everyone's just going to start getting frustrated. So we just kind of nitpick a little bit and say, you could have done this a little bit better, but next time, you know, just do this, and then we just hop back into comms. Everyone's just back into the game, you know, there's no negativity.
Well, we obviously have to discuss the Diva bombs were coming in clutch throughout the entire series, but I did notice that you two switched roles, because on King's Row, TDT was on Diva, Marv was on the Zarya, but then you switched roles for Lijiang, so was that planned that you two switched? What happened there?
I'll explain that. I was telling TDT that I wasn't feeling Diva, because the one of the maps I felt like I was doing really bad, because early on in my comp games I was literally solo carrying my games as Zarya. So I wasn't really feeling like really up to Diva. Like the first couple maps I was, you know, like I really just wanted to play Zarya, and then after I played Zarya and had Ninja eat my grab like twice, I was just like, okay, maybe I'm not qualified to play this character no more today. I need to get my re-verification. I forgot my papers in my inner pocket. TUT, can I have Diva?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, honestly, that's pretty much exactly what happened. We're just like, you know what? I'll hop on the Diva, but I mean, I guess it was a bad decision because, I mean, I play Zarya way more than I do play Diva. We just thought maybe the Zarya would be more valuable because they kind of have, him and Mav have a little bit more synergy with the off tank and main tank thing because I'm DPS obviously. So we're just like, maybe we'll just keep him on Zarya, keep me on Diva, but obviously in the end we switched that over and it definitely worked out better for us, so.
I mean, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you walk away with the win and the prize pool, I believe it's $500 if I do remember right. Swift, is there any final questions from yourself before we wrap this up?
Questions? Nah, man. I don't have any questions. I think you guys did a phenomenal job of getting everything covered. I do want to take a quick second and just remind everyone we did just kick off the CGL streamer sponsorship program. So if you or any of your friends or you know anybody that's an aspiring console streamer, send them our way. The applications are live right now. ConsoleGamingLeague.com. Yeah, go ahead, brother. What's up?
I mean, I stream on a basis. I can get those papers.
Plug it.
Hey,
Plug it.
yeah, I was just gonna say I'll give you a chance. TDT, Mav, if you guys want to take a second, we'll start with Mav. If you have any social media or Twitch you want to plug here before we.
I mean, the only thing I really want to plug personally, just because I do it quite frequently, is Twitch, which is twitch.tv/Maverick_Warrior. I play comp, I play Overwatch, I play a variety of games. I tend to be a tryhard in everything I play. I'm the only person that tries to purposely make it hard on myself to play Dead by Daylight. I don't really know why I did that, but you know, I guess the competitive part of me made it to where I thought I could use my ears and not my eyes. Turns out that the guy was to my right the whole game and trolling me.
Glutton for punishment. TDT, brother. Anything you want to plug or drop in chat before we wrap up?
I don't got anything to plug for social media wise. I just want to say thanks again to everyone who watched. Thanks to our team especially. You guys did a great job today. Thanks to CGL obviously, because you guys all provided the platform. You know, gave us the stream, gave us the money obviously. So like. Yeah,
Hey,
I mean that's pretty much it. Just
happy to do it, brother. We're here to help build the community and provide provide a service that doesn't exist otherwise or not in this platform. So one of the things we're doing is to help support gamers. We're going to have lots of tournaments throughout the summer. So if you're not already a member of our Discord, please check it out down below. The link should be in the Twitch notes. You can also find us on our website. All of the links are there too, consolegamingleague.com. We're going to go ahead and wrap up this stream here with one of our community streamers, Basic PMA. He's been a streamer and producer for us for a little while now. I mean, at least 5 months since the beginning of the year. So we're going to go ahead and raid his channel as we're finishing up here. That is one of the benefits.
Obviously, just also, sorry to interrupt you, Swift. Just also going to get this out. Obviously, remember there is the 2 games tomorrow for the grand final. So please tune in. Definitely one of them will be on this channel, and it'll be me again casting that one.
GM game is Wednesday, by the way.
And the GM game is on the Wednesday. So don't forget, this is the start of the grand finals week. Really, we do a whole week rather than one day like the Overwatch League does because we're better than them. But anyway, Swift, sorry to interrupt, and I hope everyone in chat enjoyed.
Yeah, no, you're good, man. I was actually gonna plug that before the raid went live. We do have games going on, and it'll be on screen now. So this is the full schedule for Championship Week. We have games going on about prime time every night this week. So if you tune in to CGL 1 at 8 o'clock every night this week, we're gonna have something live for you. And then we have a couple of games going on during EU times and on the weekends. So a lot of great Overwatch. Again, be sure to like and turn on notifications for CGL 1 here. If you can, spare the sub. It really does help keep the lights on here at CGL. But with no further ado, we're going to go ahead and drop the raid over on our board Basic. Before we do, Optimus, Maza, thanks for joining us as always. If you don't already follow Maza on Twitter, Maza_Overwatch. He's got the hookups, he's got the connections, gets the shoutouts on your Overwatch. Love him to death. Optimus, do you have anything else you wanted to... Or, I guess, Maza, do you have anything else you want to plug, man, before we...
No, I might be joining, I am joining actually, Action Esports coming up very shortly, so look out for that Clockwork Vendetta video, hopefully in the future, should be fun.
Right on, man. And Optimus, anything before we sign off here, brother?
No, not at all really. I think people know who I am and who my channel is. It's Optimus715 if anyone's interested in coming along to watch. I mean, this week there probably won't be any games on there because it's all main channel because it's grand finals, and I'm so looking forward to casting. I mean, that
Love it, man. Yeah, for sure, brother. Well, thanks for joining us, everyone. We do appreciate it. And tune in the rest of this week, 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to have tons of games here on CGL1. Thanks for joining us this evening. And until next time, keep grinding.